Thank you, gentlemen and guns. Coming.
Today's guest, actor, comedian, prankster, Skyler Stone. His new movie, Walking with Dinosaurs, is in theaters December 20th. And please, go to BertCast.com, pre-order my book, Life of the Party, and get a Murdered Out Machine shirt.
This is the Bertcast.
No. You can totally press the video. Yeah, just pull that towel over it. I've been working out with weights. Guys in the man cave. Ryan Sickler's still here. He's walking out shortly. He's got to go, but Skyler Stone.
I'm walking out with dinosaurs.
Walking with dinosaurs.
Wait, are we already going?
Yeah, we're recording.
Get a microphone, man.
Go pee. Okay. Yeah, Skyler's going to go though. Oh, just pee. Hey, just pee right behind here.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, because if you go in the house, the dog will attack you.
Pee like a man behind
You can't
the
walk in my
man
house with my fucking bull mastiff is injured and fucking. I would love if my kid showed up right now and Skyler's pissing in the back.
Yeah.
I go get that guy back there and just scare the shit
Sexual
out of him.
predator.
Yeah.
I love that you're letting him piss outside. My brother lives in Delaware. He's got a big ass yard, and he's like, just get out, just piss out there. It's nice to just piss in the yard. It's awesome.
I'll run out just naked.
They're kids.
And just squat her legs and piss.
They're kids.
My sister, when we were little kids, was swimming in the pool and having so much fun. She went out and took a shit in the yard.
Now that's having way too much.
Pulled her fucking bathing suit to the side, took a shit on the side. Tell me about it. I was like, Cotty, that's fucking gangster.
Yeah, it really is.
For those of you listening right away, Sickler was here. We did a podcast. These are backlogged. I've probably posted his already. And then Skyler...
But if you didn't, let me go ahead and plug the crabfeast.com right at the top of Skyler's.
Yeah. He's going to hang out.
Yeah, make sure you go to the episode that I was on.
Yes, check out Skyler. It was a really good episode.
It's going to be really confusing if I post these in opposite order. When's your movie premiere?
December 20th.
Okay. All right, I'll be back then. I'll post it in both by then.
Walking with Dinosaurs.
Walking with Dinosaurs.
Can I ask you some questions about it? Because I saw the Discovery series I was telling Bert. It wasn't it also Walking with... Is this born out of that series? It is.
It was a BBC show. It was really popular.
Oh, it was BBC.
Internationally popular, by the way.
Yeah, it was so well done. You really, when you watch it, you're like, man, do these things still live on the fucking planet?
Well, because that's why people keep going like, oh, so you're in this movie. I'm like, yeah, my voice is. They're like, oh, it's animated. I'm like, I hate it's not animated. It's not fucking Ice Age. It's not Lion King.
That's right.
It ain't 2D animation. And they're like, oh, so you mean it looks really cool like Pixar? I'm like, no, this ain't Pixar either.
Dude,
this is some other...
Have you ever seen it? Like, while the fucking, like, T-Rex is walking, they'll freeze it, and they'll go... And they'll break it in and show you the bone structure and how it moves and the footprint.
Oh,
and
I
the
guarantee you, is this something that I can see with my kids?
Oh, yeah, man.
100%.
It's amazing.
This is going to be a really stupid question. You're doing the voice of a human?
No. There's no people. This is what I love about this is the BBC created this show a while ago, and then when March of the Penguins came out, people were like, "Wow!" So and that was a huge international hit.
Yeah.
People they will watch a true story in nature. It doesn't have to be some zany character going, "Oh, I farted," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it can be like a true story that is scientifically accurate because they don't. It's not like March of the Penguins was like the real world and they created, "Hey, penguin, you go over here." They just followed fucking penguins.
Yeah.
So the vibe was, let's make a movie that's scientifically accurate, where the dinosaurs don't do anything out of what we think they did. You know what I mean? Like, they don't do backflips or something silly. You know what I mean? Like, everything that happens in this movie, they feel could have happened to any dinosaur. You know what I mean?
I want to say I grew up in Maryland, okay? And, grew up Catholic, and the Smithsonian is only 45 minutes from us. And every year from kindergarten through 8th grade until we got to high school, it was a field trip to the Smithsonian, and we would go see the dinosaurs. I can't tell you how many. It goes against the Catholic belief of time that dinosaurs exist. So you have this little pocket of Catholics in that area that not only go Catholic, but they also believe in dinosaurs, which is fucking evolution and older than they say the Earth exists.
It negates just about everything
they
in the
fucking
book.
believe.
Yeah.
So my question to you, because I have a friend whose wife is a teacher, and she teaches those kids that dinosaurs didn't exist, and the shit in the Smithsonian is fucking models, and I'm
That
like,
should be
you
illegal.
should lose your fucking
That should
teaching
be
license.
illegal.
But I wanted to know how many of the doubters are you guys? Are you getting any of that? Like, this is bullshit. They didn't
I
exist.
mean, I'm just starting the press this week, and like so far, it's just magazines and like radio shows. No one's really brought it up, but you know, I mean, the premiere's in New York next week. Maybe there'll be picketers who are like, "This never happened." Like,
Right.
I don't know. There could be.
It's amazing to me that people think that these are made up animals.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to believe though. Like when I took my daughters to wherever it was in DC that they have dinosaurs.
Smithsonian, man.
Is that what you just said? Yeah. I'm not the best fucking listener.
Yeah.
Fucking
Bert's over there looking at Archie
Yeah.
Bunker's chair.
Bert's like, I got to do my dry cleaning.
It's Cliff Clavin's fucking
I
Postman's
got to catch
outfit.
up on the Daily Show on DVR.
nudge me when you're talking about me. That should be the name of this podcast.
I like that you didn't even know it was the Smithsonian, like the nation's cap. What's that place where they have dinosaurs and
Yeah.
I took the girls and I was blown away. I was like, kept going, this is real. The best is they cut the corner. They cut the corner and Isla comes back. This is back when I curse them around my kids. Isla comes back. She maybe was 4 or 5 tops. Isla goes around, sees the big dinosaur, comes around and goes, holy shit, it's a dinosaur. And we were like,
big-ass
yeah.
T-Rex.
And I walked in. That is exactly how I felt. I was like, holy shit. But it's like, it's hard to believe that really was around.
You
Oh
know?
yeah, it's insane.
How about the pterodactyls, the size of those
Oh, yeah.
things that flew in the sky?
Yeah.
Well, this is what you're going to love about this movie. There's no pterodactyls. There's no T-Rex. It's all newly discovered dinosaurs that no one's talked about. So they really went out of their way to make this an original movie. Not only is it not animation that you've ever... the animation will blow your mind.
Is it CGI? Is that what it is?
I guess you could
or-
say that, but they call it photorealistic animation.
Okay.
And so all the backdrops are real. They went to... they figured out that they just unearthed these bones in the Alaska area. So they went to Alaska because wherever Alaska used to be on the nation or on the world, you know, they've all the continents have moved and
It used
stuff.
to be right up by Asia.
Yeah, so wherever that used to be is where they're basing this, and so they shot all these backdrops. So when you're watching the movie, the background is real. Everything's so if you're like, whoa, those trees are great. Well, they are. You know what I mean? Like that's not animated.
Yeah.
The only thing that's animated are the dinosaurs. But again, I hate using the word animated. It's literally photorealistic. It looks insane. James Cameron's company did the animation, so you know that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
So wait, what do you do? What do you?
I'm the voice of a dinosaur right here.
What's
dude.
your
Check
name?
this out. We just got this yesterday. Scowler is the name.
Oh wow, Skyler and Scowler.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, shut up.
So that kind of looks like what is this? Is a brontosaurus? Is that what that normally looks?
It looks kind of like a triceratops. But it's a
Triceratops,
pachyrhinosaur. Yeah. So I'm Scowler, the alpha male older brother to the lead character.
You got a back end merch deal on that, man?
I do, but
Attaboy.
I only get back end if they use my voice in the toy, and they cleverly didn't. You know,
They used to growl.
We could put Skyler in this, pay him
That sounds like me yawning,
pay him a
man.
couple $100,000, or hey, Mikey, intern, come in here, growl on the mic real quick. We don't owe you shit. Yeah.
Wait, how did you audition for that? They were just like, rawr.
Well, no, I mean, we talk. You know, we're not. We like. There's. It's not like we're.
Do you affect your voice, or you talk like you're talking now?
Skyler, I mean, he's a little bit kind of, you know, everything's just a little bit like this. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's just kind of like, he's a little more like, he's a little cocky. I mean, I came in, I was a recast. I don't know who I replaced, but this thing was already done. So the way animation usually works is you speak and then they animate to your voice, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, so a lot of people have seen movies like Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't know if you remember Robin Williams in that movie.
Yeah.
Like he does voiceovers and he's voicing a cartoon that already exists. They did that for show. That's not usually how it's done. Like it's not animated and then you fit your voice into, you know, when they open their mouth.
Really?
Yeah, no. You do the voice first and then they animate around how you talked. You know what
I
mean?
always would have thut I would have done more voiceover work.
You totally could. You still could.
No,
I need to get into it.
They
It's
brought me in. They brought me in
awesome.
for an audition for like some show. It was like a Nickelodeon show, and they were like, "Play the character," and I just played it as me. And they're like, "No, but do like."
Right? They want the and all, yeah.
No, but you can do that. Dude. Most of the stuff I get cast as, it's just me.
Yeah.
And voiceover. I mean, I do a ton of voiceovers. I
Yeah.
do a lot of commercials. I'm the voice of Busch Light on TV. So if you hear easy drinking Busch Light, ice cold easy, that's me.
Well done.
Shut
Now I
up!
want a
swear.
Bush Light.
Oh, the girls are here.
Whoa.
They just got that
girls.
out.
Oh, look at the sweethearts.
G Macaroon tune, rocking her St. Jude medal.
Dance.
Isla will come out and piss in the yard.
Shit in it.
So Isla's fucking a wild one. So wait, so the movies, are you going to the premiere in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, how
It's
fucking
Justin
fun is that gonna
Long.
be?
There's only 4 characters. Justin Long, John Leguizamo, myself, and oh my god, I'm forgetting her name. She was the Indian gal in The Internship. I don't know if you saw that. But she's
the Vince Vaughn movie.
Yeah, the Vince Vaughn movie.
No, I haven't seen that. There's a few movies I kind of like. I have a hard time. And I'm not shitting on Vince Vaughn and Will whatever the guy's other name is. You know who I'm talking about?
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. I'm not shitting on them, but they're so big now. No one's going to tell them no. So whatever joke they think is funny, I think, makes it in the movie.
Well, I've talked about this so many times. You know, when you get too famous, you're surrounded by yes men.
Yeah.
And unless you're like a true artist, like someone like Woody Allen, who really tries to continually make good movies, but even he's had his missteps. You know, like people get surrounded by yes men, dude. Like,
yeah, and what's crazy is I think they're massively talented, but I liked when they took chances when they weren't allowed to.
Oh yeah,
and because those always worked perfectly. Like
comedy's a hungry man's game, dude. I don't care what anybody says. When you're on the rise and someone captures you right when you're being your rawest.
Vince Vaughn is one of the funniest human beings I've ever seen, ever, and he's one of the nicest guys I've ever fucking met,
dude.
Yeah.
I was at the Improv once, and Byrne showed up with Vaughn. Owen and Byrne showed up with Vaughn and Peter Billingsley, the kid from Christmas Story, and so who's now not a kid, and he was sitting at a table, and I think Byrne just set me up because everybody knows I'm a huge Vaughn fan because I do the impression, and so Byrne goes,
"Do you really do a Vince Vaughn impression?"
Is that what you want me to do right now? Because right now we got a situation. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, I see Bert over on the couch. He's looking at me. You know, want to be like Boy George? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? I don't know. I don't even know why I'm here right now. Nice man cave you got here. Could use a pinball machine. You know what I'm talking about, baby?
God damn that! How did I not know that you could do a Vince Vaughn
I don't know
impression?
how you do. That's literally all I ever do on stage. I don't know how you didn't know that.
I don't usually stick around. I don't usually.
I literally headline for 45 minutes. I do Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, I'm usually. When I see you go on stage, that's usually when I leave. By the way, I said that joke like 3 times while you guys were talking into the mic, and then the first one I didn't get a laugh, and the second time I did it again, and you didn't get a laugh, and I was like, "Fuck it,
Don't do it for us, Bert.
So
the fans hear it; they'll tell you. I heard you at 6:17, Bert. I heard it.
Yeah.
So Vaughn. So did you meet him? Did you do his impression?
Vern goes, he goes, Skyler does an impression of you, actually. He goes, oh, that's really cool, man. Let me hear it. And I'm like, I wanted him to see me perform so bad.
Yeah.
So I go, it's better with a mic. And I'm about to get on stage. You want to come downstairs? And he totally could have blown me up. He's like, yeah, sounds great. Came down, watched me. And the best part about this, I have this video. I should upload it to YouTube. My fiance Nicole was there, and she had this little HD flip cam that I get. I go, hey, record my set tonight, not knowing Vaughn was going to be there.
Yeah.
And she still doesn't know Vaughn's there. She's over to the side at the Improv by the double doors back when they used to open. And so she's standing right there. Vince Vaughn's behind her. She has no clue, and she's filming me. And if you watch the video, right when I go into the Vince Vaughn impression, I do it, and at the end, you can hear him laughing behind in his Vince Vaughn little cackle. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Nicole turns around and goes, oh my gosh, you're Vince Vaughn. And you can hear that in the video.
Oh, nice.
So she's naturally acting, and he goes, yeah. He told me to come down. And it's the funniest video because she had no idea he was there.
Yeah, he's so fucking talented.
So what a weird experience to watch your man do Vince Vaughn, and then Vince Vaughn's right behind you.
I've never been able to do an impression in my life. I wanted to so bad. When I got to New York, I thought impressions were the way to make it. DC Benny had great impressions,
Benny,
and then he'd fucking murder. And I was like, if I could just get one impression.
Yep.
Just one impression where I could fucking hit it out of the park, but I never.
Yeah.
I just love doing them. I'm a big SNL fan when it works, when it's got a good cast.
Did you ever audition for SNL?
I did. I tested. Me and Sandberg and Hader tested the same day. Got flown out, put up. I think I was too excited to be there. You know what I mean? Now sometimes you just don't There's an element of you got to want a job.
I think you told us this. Didn't you say? Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say Sandberg? You just knew.
I just knew right away. I did tell you that.
Yeah.
Sandberg just had this you're looking at him, you're like, well, that's probably the way you should act if you're sure you're going to get something. It was he was cocky, but it was a lovable cocky, and if you can pull off that kind of cocky, they want you, dude. Otherwise, if done by the wrong person, it could be very douchey. I can think about 50 comics right off the top of my head that do the douchey version of what Sandberg does.
Wait, who else was in that? Because I think I heard about someone else got SNL during that time that they forgot. They forgot to call his name. Was that you telling that story? They forgot. I heard this story. and I wish I had a better
he
memory.
made the roster, and
No, they were like, "You go first," and he was like, "Great," but then they forgot to call his name. And so he just kept waiting back there, and he was the last to go. And he's like, "Guys, what about me?" And they're like, "Oh shit, we totally forgot about you." And then they let him go. I forget who it was. I'm sorry.
Did he get it?
Got it.
He got it. Yeah, he ended up getting it, but I don't
man.
remember who it was. Might have been Bill Hader.
Oh.
Might have been Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard it on Marin. It might have been Bill Hader.
Well, Sandberg he was a cool guy, and he literally, I'm not kidding, he walked up to me, he goes, "Hey man, how's it going?" I go, "Pretty good." He goes, "I'm going to get this, right?"
Are you serious?
But he said it. I didn't even think it was. It was funny how he did it. You know those faces he makes and stuff. He just did his little Sandberg thing, and in my head, I'm like, I think he is. He totally psyched me out.
Oh, I'm so not that guy in auditions. I'm so the guy that I almost want everyone else to get it because I know that I'm going to be fine not getting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I look at people who look like they're a mess, and I go, I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
This
I
guy
got a
needs
wife,
this fucking
kids, I got a
soap
happy
commercial
life.
right now.
you know?
I'll tell you a story about a guy. A guy.
Here, I don't want to interrupt it. I got to get out of here, guys. Let's start.
Last story.
All right, go ahead.
I went into
You
an
know he's going to do
audition.
that for you
I
for another
went
hour.
into-
For another
I went
hour.
into an audition one time. It was for it was a big
Wait, but by the way, though, how ironic is it that he's saying he doesn't need a job, but he needs you to stay right now for the attention?
I'm out.
Exactly.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I'm out of here.
I have intimacy issues. It was for a big Matt Damon movie, and I walked in, and the guy that walked out looked almost like destroyed. And I was like, but I knew him.
What movie is this?
It was a Matt Damon movie. I forget the name. I'll tell you. You'll know it. Tom Papa was in the movie.
Oh, yeah, I went in on that, too. It's The Informant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched.
They brought in every comic in town. Did you know, not to interrupt, but just it'll help this story. Did you know that
It'll help this story.
No, I just meant. Well, no. It'll paint a picture. He wanted to fill that movie with comics. It was a goal.
Really?
He literally said, he did an interview where he said, comics are so funny and dark, and this movie is that, and I want that vibe. And he felt like comics were the only people that could breathe life into this script. That's why there's so many comics in that movie.
It was all comics
Joel
at the
McHale,
audition.
Tom Papa.
Stop with the. Now you're cringing on my story.
Sorry.
So Joel McHale's the guy. So,
Yeah.
but Joel McHale walked out, and I had known Joel. I got a deal at Budweiser a long time ago, probably 10 years ago, probably 12 years ago, almost 13. I got a deal at Budweiser to do a series of commercials, and then those commercials would turn into a sitcom. So it was an overall development deal with a network attached with Budweiser. All we needed to do is get the commercials. It's about a guy who loses everything, moves into he was a .com guy, loses everything, moves into his fantasy box because that's all that he has left, and he lives in his fantasy box in his luxury box in an arena. And so they brought in, they wanted to shoot it's not that bad. It's a pretty good idea. So I don't know. Anyway, they bring in some actors to do some scenes with me that they're going to show Budweiser, and Joel McHale's one of them. This is old Joel McHale. The one before the one he is now.
Yeah.
And so, and he was the nicest
What was
fucking
that?
guy.
What is that?
I think by that he means just not famous.
Okay.
Yeah, just not. Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. I was like,
but he was.
he used to be a magician.
He was really fucking nice. No, he was really nice. He was really friendly. He was really outgoing. He was a great fucking actor.
He is
I
a good
remember we
actor.
did this. I remember we did this scene, and I was like, this guy really fucking. That's what I mean by old Joe McHale. He was not the guy that you know now as like almost. I'm not saying
Snarky and wise ass. Yeah.
And like he didn't like he plays everything very kind of low key, like plays everything straight almost these days. But he wasn't like that. He was high energy. He was funny as fuck. And I watch him. He doesn't know me, but we did do this thing together. And I see him come out of the audition almost defeated. And I was like, that's odd. I thought he'd totally get something like this. When I saw him, I was like, oh, he'll book it. I go in after him, and I swear to God, the woman has his headshot in her hand. And she's looking at it, and I went, hey. And she went, hi, how you doing? And she put it on one pile. I go, is that Joel McHale? She goes, yeah. I go, and I tell her what I just told you. I go, he's actually a fucking fantastic actor. I did some scenes with him, and he carried them, and she grabs his headshot and moves it on the other stack. And I went, oh, good. Like, in my head, I'm like, I've done it.
I just fucked myself out of this.
Yeah,
Damn, I just.
As I see her do that, I went, wait, what role did he read for? Oh, fuck. Shit. But then he got the part, and I saw him in the movie, and I know that obviously he had to go back. He had to read in front of a million people. I had nothing to do with him booking it. He booked that. But I remember saying something positive about that room, and I was like, you know what? I bet that's going to, hopefully that's good karma that comes back, and someone does that for me one time. But no one has. Oh, I guess people have, I'm sure. But all right, Sickler, you can go now.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me.
It,
I love you. I love you. Congrats on everything, brother. Here, get over here.
Yeah. It's all cozy over here.
Oh, just throw it up in my dinkum systems. Oh, it's yeah.
Are you sure we're even recording? Like, how do you even know?
I have a little thing right here. I wish the light was on. Will you hit the light on when you're way out, Ryan? And you're right now. You're like, you feel like my wife. I was going to turn it on my way out. Do you remember that story? Yeah.
Is that it right there?
Yeah. We're still recording.
Have fun.
See you, Sickler.
Sickler. Ah, you did it. You went to McDonald's. You remember our McDonald's conversation?
You know what I don't have in there right
What?
now? Another cup from another fast food place.
Ah.
Oh, that's my dog. And that's my wife.
Yeah. Why is the dog what you noticed first?
Because she's limping.
Yeah.
She had ACL surgery. So it's
Beautiful big dog.
Yeah, she's my wife.
She's got a great ass. The dog.
Then my wife. My wife's got a pretty great ass.
Yeah.
You've met Leanne before, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we always see each other at Ralphie's parties.
How the fuck is it that we're I live right there.
I know. You said to me, you're like,
yeah.
I was going to tell Sickler's story, but I was like, I can't tell it without actually telling people where I live. Mm-hmm. But you were like, this basically the story that you said, where do you tape? And I said, these. And then you said, these two crossroads. And I was like, yes. And you're like, no, that's where I live. And I
yeah, you were very confused.
I go, no, that's where I live. And you were like, no.
No, that's where I live.
And then you said, I'm behind the, let's just say, McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I said, wait, I'm behind you. I'm next door to the McDonald's. I go, I'm behind the McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm in front of the McDonald's. You're behind it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, two, hungover assholes like you and I haven't met over an Egg McMuffin at said McDonald's.
I very seldomly, like I'll go out our back gate. You can walk out and you get to all those shops.
Yeah.
And I'll get sushi sometimes in that sushi place.
You eat that shit?
Oh, I love it.
It's terrible.
I love it.
You obviously know nothing about sushi.
No, I've
really become like it's going to sound a little snobby, a wine and a sushi snob in my 30s. I swear to God. I know a lot about wine now and a lot about sushi.
You're an interesting person because there's so much about you that is almost mysterious. Like I remember one time I had offices over at on like Gower, I think, and I remember one time pulling up and you were in your car. Mm-hmm. I want to say you were sleeping in your car. And I walked out, and you were like, hey, what's up? I was like, hey, what are you doing here? And you're like, oh, I'm just going to check my email. And then you walked behind the information booth, and you were sitting at the information booth checking your email where, like, the lady checks people in. Uh-huh. Do you remember those? Do you remember?
Are you talking about Hollywood Production Center?
Yeah.
HPC?
Yeah.
Yeah. What year would this have been?
It was...
07? I had a pilot in 07 that was based there.
Maybe that was it.
Skyler's Revolution. I did it for Fox.
That might have been it. That might have been because you literally. And I was like, "What do you like?" You were so comfortable there.
Yeah.
I was like, "Do you like?" But I didn't ask. I was just like, I was like, "But you were literally behind the."
I don't follow a lot of social order or cues.
Me either. But
I think my tact is off in a lot I'm just like, I'm just going to use this. I don't know.
My wife says it's called casting a large wake.
Yeah.
You know, I'm unaware.
Yeah.
I'm literally a boat cruising, and I'm unaware the people that look at that and go, you can't do that. Like I brought a big knife to school the other day. This knife. I brought this knife to school on my back because I had it on my belt. And it's just not this one, but this one. It's a pretty big knife.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, you don't fucking do that. You don't bring a weapon to pick your kids up at school.
I don't think I would do something that glaringly oblivious, but but I do things I just today I know for a fact that my friend's dad died, and I'm not scared to ask somebody hey, do you mind if I ask more questions about that? I'm not doing it because I want gossip. I actually really care. But then Cole's like, dude, do you ever think he maybe doesn't want to talk about it? I'm like, do you ever think that maybe he does and everyone's too scared to ask him and he wants to maybe have a conversation about it? And he didn't mind at all. He told me all the details and stuff. I don't know. I don't really follow a lot of social cues.
I don't follow social cues.
I'm autistic in that way.
Where did you grow up?
St. Louis.
Really? Oh, that's right. I knew that.
Yeah.
How did I know that?
I'm a huge Cardinals fan. It's all I ever talk about.
Really? No,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You're not a baseball guy?
No, I am, but not really. I take that back. Not really.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'll go see a game every now and then. I like going to games, and I don't really follow what's going on, but I'll watch like the World Series. I'll tune in for that. And,
I really only care about the Cardinals. I'll go to Laker games because I'm a diehard Laker fan since birth, not just because I moved here. There was no basketball team in St. Louis, so we just rooted for the Lakers because they were awesome in the '80s. I love the Cardinals, dude. I call into sports shows, talking about the Cardinals. I'm a huge Cardinal fan.
Now, wait, what? Let's do a little backlog because I remember meeting you, but I don't know anything about your story. I remember knowing who you were before I met you because of Con.
Yeah, well, you probably knew me from that, but like I knew you from. I think you and I both opened for Jay at different times. I mean, I definitely know you through Jay. Jay's the person that put you on my radar. But yeah, I mean, I don't even remember the first time we met. I know that you're one of the first 5 comics I ever saw in LA. I saw you at the Improv, and it was my first show, and you were there. It was just a regular showcase night. It wasn't any special show, and I just remember you did your Bert joke, and like you did. There were like 3 jokes that I remember. But I remember you were awesome, and then I didn't know you. I just saw you. I'm like, oh, he's good, and then I met you through Jay. Like
I remember. I distinctly remember. Like we all met, and I'd tell you, but I liked Con. I'd seen Con before, and I was like, "That's a fucking great show."
Oh, thanks, man.
It was a really great show, and I was like, "But you just showed up," and I was like, on Con, I was like, I hadn't seen you in the clubs or anything, and I was like, "Wow!" And then Tom Segura and I took great pleasure in your actual obliviousness to how Jay worked, because we had both worked with Jay, and we knew that Jay was not necessarily the most free-spirited kind of, like, he liked things a certain way. Yeah. And I remember Tom just called me one time, and I mean, I think I had stopped working with Jay by this time, but Tom called me, and he was like, dude, Tyler just showed up hammered, ordered a fucking Jack on the Rocks in the green room, and fucking Jay's losing his mind.
Well, again, that goes back to my wake thing, like...
but that is who I am. Yeah. In all seriousness, that's who I am. It was never who I was around Jay. We just didn't have that kind of relationship, but that is who I am in life. And I remember hearing that and going, God, I fucking love Skyler. Like, it was so funny. And Tom's like, Skyler's clueless to how upset Jay is. Jay is fucking losing his mind. But I love that about you. And I was like, as soon as he told me that, I was like, I'm fucking pot committed to Skyler.
Well, for me, I just never understood, like, Jay's done a lot for me. I mean, he got me at the Laugh Factory. He's really helped. I don't know that I'd be where I'm at without him. But I wish he had just come up to me and to just, when you're opening for me, here's some of my rules. But in hindsight, I mean, the guy's sober, and I'm showing up, and I would be late a lot. I'd show up and order drinks. I showed up with my dog and brought my dog in the green room and didn't even ask if that was okay. I used to bring my dog with me everywhere.
But I like people like that. I like people who don't know. Like to an extent, I would say Red Band's got a little bit of that to him. Yeah, Red Band.
I don't really know Red Band that well.
He's the fucking
I know him.
Guy you'll ever fucking meet.
He's the what?
The sweetest guy you will ever fucking meet. He is.
I just don't know how those guys feel about me at I don't know what Rogan remembers and what he doesn't. I mean, he's obviously a busy guy, and I don't really know his personality well enough to know. But they invited me to do the Ice House Chronicles show. When 4 comics show up and they do it, and then you get on stage and you come back. Have you done that one?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I went and are you on Rogan's network?
No, Rogan doesn't have a network.
Oh, I thought he did.
No, he doesn't have a network. It's just him.
Wait, he doesn't do so Death Squad isn't his network?
Death Squad's Brian. Oh,
I didn't know that.
No, Brian runs the Death Squad network. I think he also sells the Death Squad. I had a dream about Death Squad. I'm gonna have a beer. Okay. I apologize. I had a really very rough night last night.
You did?
But no, but yeah, Brian runs the network. He sells the shirts. He does the Death Squad shows. I think with Tripoli and and Tony Hinchcliffe. But then the Death Squad. The Ice House Chronicles, I think is probably a Death Squad show, but dude, there's no ownership. I mean, there's no cattiness or bitchiness about it. It's we're all fucking friends. If it doesn't it doesn't matter. I call Rogan. I texted Rogan. I'm like, I'm in town. Do you want to do my podcast or do you want me to do yours? I don't give a fuck who does whose. Yeah. At all. I don't care about numbers for my podcast, and he doesn't need to. So but I think it's all those guys have nothing but positive fucking. I've never have ever had a negative experience. It's just like solid friendship.
I had an unfortunate experience, and what happened was I went and did the podcast, and I got to be honest, I was actually stoked. I'm a Joe Rogan fan.
Yeah.
I have been since I moved out. Fuck that. I've been one since the 90s before I moved out here.
Yeah.
And so when I was asked to do that one, and I knew that Red Band's involved in them, I was actually really honored. But I got brought on to do it with Eliza Schlesinger, Daryl Wright, and a porn star. Daryl Wright is hammered. I mean, he was so. I love Daryl, but and I've told him the story. Daryl?
Yeah, very well.
I mean,
yeah.
he's fucking
Not very well. What the fuck? Yeah, I know him very well. Yeah, I know Daryl. Yes.
Yeah,
I say very well, but I'm afraid to say that because Daryl will hear this and go, Bert, we've hung out a couple times.
Now hold on a sec.
Yeah. I love Daryl.
I can't do his
Daryl.
voice, but so he's hammered, and I feel like it was either Eliza or Sarah Tiana. I think it was Eliza.
They're both hilarious.
No, it was Eliza.
And both beautiful.
Yeah, they're both great.
Sarah Tiana's a big sports fan.
She is, and I
Yeah,
didn't know
big
that till
baseball
only
fan.
like 2 years ago.
Sarah Tiana, I actually really don't even know her that well. I think I've met her a couple times, maybe, hopefully, but I know her obviously from Push and all the guys at the Comedy Store, and I don't think that's one of the many people I've never heard anyone say anything bad about.
Oh yeah, Sarah's great, dude. I've known her for years.
I should get her on this podcast.
Her and I were actually both extras in an NSYNC music video in 2001.
Really?
Yeah, before we ever done anything in this town. So we've known each other. It's fun to know somebody and not know them through comedy and go, no, we're like actual friends. Like we didn't meet because she did my show and I put her on mine. Like we just know each other from knowing each other. So that's pretty rare. I don't know a lot of comics.
And I will say this only because I said Sarah. Eliza is absolutely hilarious too. I love
great.
Eliza. I've known Eliza probably pretty long.
I met her back when she was dating Brett Ernst, and I was blown away by her.
Ernst is doing the podcast soon. Everybody, he's on his honeymoon right now.
I love Brett Ernst.
So wait, so go back.
So I did this podcast and. Politics were brought up, and I was really ready to have an actual talk about politics because I in the last few years I've also really gotten into politics. So I'm trying to talk. Daryl's drunk, which is kind of derailing a lot of it. Eliza felt annoyed, I feel, by how drunk he was. I don't really know how much Eliza drinks. Not to say she's against it or anything. And then the porn star was fucking clueless. Big surprise, right? About politics. Yeah. So the conversation wasn't really going well, even though I really was trying to help steer it. Joe shows up when this thing is already mid shit show. So Joe doesn't know me. I want to make an impression on him. You know what I mean? I've always looked up to him. He really is an actual influence. I know a lot of comics just say that he really is, dude. Yeah. And so I'm sitting here going, oh, God. It's kind of like, you ever do a commercial audition and you get paired up with a really bad partner and you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to get this fucking commercial. I'm this worst actor in the world. You know what I mean? So it felt like that. And so.
Or you have sex with someone who's so bad at sex, you look bad at having sex.
Exactly. I actually have a couple of those stories.
I do too.
And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, this sucks. And so you get called out one at a time on this podcast. And so I go into the room and I go do my set. But nobody tells me, it was so, because of the shit show that it became, no one walked up to me and told me how long I'm doing, and no one told me where the light is either. And it's in the annex. So there isn't a light there. I guess there's a tiny little thing that they just flash at you, and I never saw it. And then finally someone waved at me, and they looked panicked dude, you need to get off the fucking stage. And it really wasn't a long set, but I guess Joe decided out of nowhere to go up after me, and I didn't know that. Had I known Joe fucking Rogan is waiting in the wings, I'm certainly not going to run I'm going to be looking for the light. You know what I mean? I have respect for Joe Rogan. And so I get out the stage, and Joe just goes to me. He goes, you don't respect the light? What kind of comic are you? And then he gets on stage. And then I hung around afterwards. I'm laughing at his bits, but the whole time I'm fearing him. Yeah. And so he gets up stage. I try to go up and talk to him. I go, Joe, I go, please, I'm so sorry. I didn't know where the light was. I didn't see it. No one told me how long I'm doing. He goes, whatever, man. Dude, it's whatever, man. It's cool. Don't worry about it. But he said it you're an asshole. And then I've never seen him since. And I've tried to get on Death Squad podcasts, and I don't know. I don't know if there's a funky taste in the mouth.
No, I don't think there is. I'm sure there is. And I mean,
I really respect what they're doing over there.
Yeah, he's been in the business long enough where he's seen people, go over. It's not like anyone holds grudges. I mean, it's frustrating to everyone when it's happening. But I don't think Joe's not the kind of guy that holds grudges. He's kind of your paths will cross, and I doubt he'll remember it. And, and you
that's
guys
what I mean. I don't think I'm important enough to him to.
I don't.
The moment
he's been a very. I've had a lot of I've nothing bad to say about Joe, and he's been a really great influence on a lot of things going on in my life. And like I said, if I had a nickel for every time I called, and I've said this to him, if I had a nickel for every time I called him after an event and thanked him for putting me in the position to get to that event, I'd be a rich man. He's been like positive influence in my life.
No, I'm a big fan of his.
Red Band is like this. You'd love. He's the fucking nicest guy. Like, just
he says hi. I see him at the Comedy Store. We say hi to each other. I mean, we don't really have any long talks or anything, but I don't think he's mad at me.
Red Band's an interesting guy. Even if you did, you would like did. He's not like he's not. He's more about like he's like in the essence of the now.
Oh, okay.
He's not gonna fucking sit and talk politics or anything. He's just gonna fucking party, have a good time.
Yeah.
Let's go get something to eat. Let's go fucking listen to some music and drive around in the car and dance on the freeway.
I've never seen him do stand up. I've only heard his podcast.
Funny, really funny.
So I don't even know what kind of a comic he really is.
He just did a date. I just did Columbus, and he was in Columbus doing a one-nighter, and he did both my Saturday shows. He did sets on both my Saturday shows and fucking murdered. And I was like,
nice.
I did not I just haven't seen him perform in a while, and I was like, holy shit. So yeah, they're all good, man. It seems like there's differences in the universe with comics and who there's almost fractions. I know I feel it when I go to UCB. I feel like I'm not invited there, even though I know I am, and I know that I have been invited there to perform. I don't feel like I belong. And
I think
gets
it's
in my
so funny,
head.
man, that happens. Like a guy like D'Elia is killing it right now, but you never see him over at UCB, and you have to wonder if maybe that's part even he doesn't feel like he's invited there. Like you do feel funny when you go there. Like I feel like, oh man, am I supposed to cut a couple of my really dumb jokes out? Am I supposed to just
am I supposed to even do stand up?
Yeah.
I don't I wish I felt more comfortable, because I would go there more often, because I do think it's good for me to make myself feel uncomfortable and do those things.
Yeah.
And I love every time I'm at UCB. I love the energy there. It's very positive, but I do say things that do not belong in that club.
Yeah.
And I can turn a crowd pretty quickly. And if I was in a regular comedy club, no problem. But
I like guys that can do both, though. I'm one of my favorite comedians is Nick Thune, and I don't know if you saw his recent stuff. He's killing it, dude.
No, I had a douche chill moment with Nick one time where I was like, I fucking forget what, but we were all in a car and we were all fucking hammered and we're all driving. The person driving wasn't hammered. The person driving was Ben Glebe, by the way. Ben Glebe was driving us all from a show down in Irvine home. And I
did he make you do his? He used to do like a podcast while driving from Irvine Improv.
Yeah. And I think I was fucking. I had too many drinks in me, and Nick wasn't drinking. He was just fucking chilling out. And I started giving him my theories on comedy, and I was like, fuck, if I could take. I was just young enough to be arrogant.
How long ago is this?
Probably right when he started. Like right when he started in L.A.
Well, he had a. I can never say this word right. Meteoric rise. Yeah. I mean, he came out here and he got some shit fast. One of the fastest I've ever seen somebody.
Him and Owen are the two biggest blow ups that I've seen step into the business. And
but they kind of stepped in at the same time too.
I would say let's type it. Let's try to be theoretical on this. Him and Owen, TJ and Pete.
TJ and who's Pete?
Pete Holmes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. Okay,
TJ and
pretty
Pete
fast.
Both came out to L.A.
Yeah.
and just skyrocketed. Nick and Owen just skyrocketed, and they skyrocketed so fast you assume they were best friends.
They were friends.
Yeah, but I assumed they lived together.
No, they were actually really good. They had a show together, and then I think something happened where they didn't get along for a while, which can happen with Owen. Owen and I used to be best friends, but we had a massive fallout, and I'll never speak to him again.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, he's gonna be the best man at my wedding. Yeah, but I the stuff I know, I would never tell the stories, but I would never talk to him again for the rest of my life. You couldn't pay me enough money.
Are you serious?
Yeah, not even remotely.
I can't even fathom that. I've never had anything but just very positive.
Oh, I used to. Yeah, but I saw some different sides.
Holy shit, man. Well, that stinks. And no one start drama. That's how the fucking podcasts are so fucking dramatic.
I know, it's so funny.
I had to go to a therapist for podcast drama.
I had to go to therapist. I've always gone to therapist, but it's not like I ran to one because of Owen. But it got brought up for sure for several weeks where I'm like, I literally asked this guy to be the best man at my wedding, and now I'll never speak to him again. Do you know what that feels like? He's like, I don't. Let's talk about it. We had to talk about it a lot.
Yeah, it was really helpful. And then Joey Diaz pulled me aside, and he was
I love Joey.
And Joey's like, dog, fuck your therapist, hang out with me. So for 1 month straight, every morning, Joey and I would get coffee.
Dude, you told me about this, and I've tried to explain this to other people, and I actually really have a really good idea for a show. Based on it's stealing what you do, but I wanted to do it with you, so it's not stealing it. I think you told me, I ran into you. I've always respected, you're a very real person. I remember seeing you at Ralphie's party maybe a year ago, and you just texted me the next day out of the blue, and you go, "Hey, just so you know, me and Joey are doing this thing. We're getting together every Monday, right?" And right. You remember this?
Well, yeah.
You reached out to me, told me you guys get together for breakfast, and you're like, it's just, like it's not about work, it's not about anything. It's just fucking getting together, like a rate. Like I thought, I was like, I'm a big fan of old guys, like old men, not you, old men, like fucking, and that's what old men do. You know what I mean? Like I just watched recently. I'm staying up for a second. Someone's have to stand up. I just watched recently. Comedians in cars getting
coffee. It's fucking awesome.
I love it. First of all, it's the most genius show idea ever, and the guests he get are fucking. It's unprecedented. The guests he get, and of course Seinfeld can get whoever the fuck he wants, but he got Carl Reiner, and that's a big deal to me.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, watch it, because what it opens up, it shows Carl.
Letterman was my favorite.
I didn't see that one.
Letterman was really great.
Oh my god, I gotta watch that one.
Yeah, it's really fucking great.
Because they have a funny relationship.
Yeah.
Letterman has a few guys that no matter what, like I know how some people only DVR things like Lost or Breaking Bad. Dude, if I find out Letterman has Michael Keaton or Bill Murray or Seinfeld on, I fucking DVR that, because he has great relationships with those three people. They have like really good verbal sparring, especially Bill Murray.
Yeah.
So Seinfeld picked up Carl Reiner. And, Carl Reiner's best friend, and everybody knows this, no secret, is Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
They used to do the 2,000-year-old man bit, and they did tons of things together. And so they're out getting coffee, and then Jerry goes, "What are you doing the rest of the day?" And Carl Reiner goes, "Oh, well, every day, Mel comes over for dinner." And then he's like, "What? Like every day?" "Yeah, every day at 5:00. Like they don't miss it. It's like so important and vital to them."
Yeah.
And so both of their schedules are always worked out around it, so that no matter what, they get together. I think they've mostly done this since Ellen Burstyn died, Mel Brooks' wife.
Yeah.
Because that's just a hard thing to do, obviously at that age, to be by yourself. So they come over. So it made me think of that. Right when I watched that, I thought of you and Joey, and then I'm like, there's got to be a show where, like, if it took place at the same cafe every Monday, but it's always you and Joey, but like it's almost like a more informal Chelsea Lately, where literally you and Joey are always there, like Chelsea's always on Chelsea, but different people come to the breakfast table. Wouldn't that be a great show?
It's you know what though, the problem is that like the thing that made Joey and because it started out, I think we did it a couple times, and then I told him one time I was going to therapy, and he was like, "Fuck that. This is what friends are. I'm a fucking, every morning I'll meet you here." And we get together like every morning at I want to say 8:30, 9 o'clock. We'd go to Maria C, and we just sit and we would talk for 2 hours and just talk. And he'd listen, and I'd tell him what I was thinking, and I'll put it to you in this way: is I don't have a lot of friends. And I especially never did have for a very long time. And I think these are the reasons that I don't have a lot of friends that would sit and listen to me for 2 hours every morning for a month, and to make sure I was okay.
That's a really good point, especially in Los Angeles. Especially in this town. I hate to shit on this town because I love it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And
when I realized that was the friendship I was looking for, is someone who then, when they were going through stuff, could call me and be like, "Hey, I remember Joey saying like, "Hey, can I come over and take your dog on a walk with you?" And I was like, well, I'm not gonna take the dog on a walk.
Yeah.
I was like, "You want to just hang out?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so like, but like it was real genuine friendship, and he doesn't get anything from me. Joey doesn't get anything.
I don't know him well, but all I've heard is stories like this about him.
I don't even
think he knows who I am. But
I'm not giving him anything. He's not making money off of me. I'm not on his podcasting network. I'm just his friend.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it. He calls every now and then. I remember him calling one time, real upset that I hadn't returned his call. He called a couple times. I hadn't returned his call. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Dog, I'm your friend. When I fucking call, just pick up the phone and call me back so I know you're okay."
Oh wow!
And I was like, but that's Joey, and that's Joe too. Like Joe's a friend. If I have something going on, I can call Joe and I can talk to him the same way I talk to Buns, the same way I talk to fucking Joey, same way I talk to Ari, same way I talk to Brian, same way I talk to a lot of like people.
Wait, who are all these
days.
people you're talking about? Brian Redband?
Yeah, Redband.
Ari Shaffir?
I could.
Who else?
Tommy Buns, Tom Segura.
Oh,
Like I could,
Buns? I didn't know that's his nickname.
No, Tommy Buns. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
From the movie.
I'm doing his podcast now. I've never done it.
Oh, he's the fucking best.
Oh, I love him. I
is
literally have an
the
obsession.
best.
He doesn't even understand how much I'm obsessed with him. Like I don't think he knows what a fan I am of his. He's a comic that I stop and watch when he performs.
I love him.
And I don't have a lot of
he's-
people on that list.
He's he's a guy.
I love
that-
his cadence. The way he speaks and the way he does his
Yeah.
jokes fucking kills me. Like just
Yeah.
the way I just love it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get a kick out of him.
he's
and Bush.
ballsy. You know what he did the other week? He's doing this new thing where he's talking about Michael J. Fox. First of all, I don't care if you make fun of anything in front of me. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bother me.
I don't get offended.
I really don't. I remember Tosh actually the day after Heath Ledger died. Tosh got on stage and said, "So apparently they found Heath Ledger's suicide note. It was titled 10 Things I Hate About Me." The day after.
God damn it!
Oh my
Tosh
God.
is so fucking talented.
And it killed, and I was on the lineup, so I thought I could make a Heath Ledger joke. And I found out I don't have what he has, and I can't get away with it.
He's earned it.
He not only has he earned it, even at the beginning though, dude, he just had it. Like he just has a way about him. Some people can just do that. Tom Papa has that joke where he goes, you ever held a newborn baby? And you're looking at the baby, and you're like, I could totally throw this baby right now.
Yeah.
and he's looking at me, he was like, I could throw this baby. Not a lot of people can talk about throwing a baby and get away
Yeah.
with that, dude. You know what I mean? And so I got on stage, and I do a lot of impressions like we talked about earlier. And so I did Vince Vaughn, I did Owen Wilson, I did Bruce Willis, all my favorites. And then right at the end, I was sitting at the piano at the Improv. I go, here's my impression of Heath Ledger playing piano. This is really dumb, too, so that's probably why it didn't really get a big laugh. It's not as smart as his joke. I just started playing the piano, and then I fell on the piano. My head just hit all the keys, and I just acted like I was dead on the piano.
Yeah.
Nobody laughed. I got boos. The next day, Rita from the Improv and Dee from the Improv are calling me, going, Skyler, Robert Pattinson was in the crowd last night, from Twilight.
Shut up.
Yeah, and he is so pissed about what you did. He tweeted and said this. He goes, I don't know this comic's name, but someone find out what his name was. It was the most vile and wrong joke ever. I guess he knew Heath or something.
Yeah.
And so then Us Weekly contacts me trying to confirm if I did that. I totally denied it because I was so scared of the back because they were going to write a story.
I hate backlash.
Yeah, maybe I should have just taken it. It might have gotten me a lot of attention.
In retrospect, you look back, and you're like, "Oh, I fucking take the charge."
Yeah, exactly.
But in the moment, you're like, "Just go away."
I
don't wanna
I
deal with
didn't
it.
say that. They're like, well, we need confirmation you did this, because they don't want to get sued,
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I go, I think some comic did do that, though I don't know his name, and then they didn't write the story.
The New York Times wanted me to talk about my story about taking acid and go to Disneyland, and I was like, "No, you're out of your fucking mind." And they're like, "Well, it's interesting. I think it's a good story, and we'd love to kind of profile it." And I went, "Nope, not." Like, I didn't realize how perilous that is to a guy who wants to take his kids to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to ever besmirch or besmut, whatever that fucking word is, my relationship with them. So God forbid I get on the fucking no attend list.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm making fun of the fucking the mouse. And
Well, hey, dude, look what that guy just. You know about that movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he did even worse. I thought that movie was gonna do better, but it didn't do that well.
I wanted to get back to the debate. So you're when did you
I
start?
forgot what we were talking about.
Well, I don't know how we got onto. Don't worry about it.
I said, what comics? You were saying who? You were saying, I can talk to Joey the way that I talk to Ari. And
Oh yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
But
No,
then
but I was
somehow-
more curious.
Segura. Keep your thought.
Okay.
But Segura did a joke the other day about Michael J. Fox in his new show on NBC. I can't remember all of it. I'm going to butcher it, but he just said something like, they're making me watch this program. I like my happiness. I like my sanity. And I'm supposed to just be okay that this guy is shaking all of, he just did this whole ballsy bit about a lot of people would be scared to do that at the Improv. It's a very industry heavy, room. And
Yeah.
they'd be scared of, but he doesn't have a lot of fear. And that's why
He's pretty fearless in every respect, and almost to the point where sometimes I go, there is shit to be afraid of. He's like swimming out in the ocean, fucking naked, and like what treading water, I remember hearing this story. It's fucking pointless. I won't even say it. But I take it back. I remember hearing a story about an autistic kid who got swept out to sea.
Whoa.
For I want to say a couple hours.
Whoa.
He got swept out to sea.
And he survived?
Yeah, he survived. He was just kicking away.
You're like, yeah, a whale swallowed him. He was in an air
No,
bubble.
but he had. I think he was hypothermic. I want to say it was in New Smyrna. I think he was, and New Smyrna is the shark attack capital of the world, and that's why sometimes I look at Buns. Like that kid had no clue that he didn't. He's more oblivious to his intimate surroundings, than he is like the externals of like there's sharks in these waters. I need to fucking worry. That kid's just like he loved swimming, and he just kind of swam out, and he was out there for like 2 hours, and they came out in a boat and they got him. I think he was swept out to sea, but that's Buns. When he does stand up, he just is fucking fearless, completely fearless. I love him. I love Push. I get a kick out of both of them. They're probably my wife and our closest friends. We do a lot of shit with them. But
Tommy and who?
Tom is Buns and Christina is Push.
Why?
I don't like the names Kristen, Christina, Christiana.
You hate those?
Like
Okay.
all those names, I always mixed them up.
Yeah.
And so Christine, whenever I have a friend like that, like I have Christine Pierce, I just call Pierce. And then Pajinski is her last name, but I was like, I'll just make it Push. So I started calling her Push when we first started hanging out, and it stuck. And Tommy, I've always just called Buns.
She didn't take his name when they got married?
No, who wants fucking Segura? No, I'm kidding.
I like Segura. I like that name, Segura.
No, she had a career
Segura.
before him. She was on.
Dude, Tom Segura could fit amongst like important like Tom Hanks, Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Tom Segura.
I could totally
He
see
would
that
have been
in
a
like
great.
a fucking
He would have been a great.
extremely loud, incredibly close type trailer.
He would have been a great diplomat in Peru. He would have been a perfect diplomat,
That's funny.
like the kind that drank early in the morning and wore those Panama hats and
That's
was
funny.
always sweating and smoked cigars. That's Buns. No, wait. She was on Real World before, or Road Rules before.
Who?
Christina.
I don't really
Pajinski.
know her well. I know
really?
I've met her because me and Tommy both were like open for Jay at the same time, and I know I've met her, but I have not had like a ton of conversations with her.
Yeah, I don't think she ever really hung out in that scene. She was more like hang out in the room kind of.
Yeah.
No, what is wait, sweet. When did you come out here and how did you get con?
Well, I came out here September 13th, 2000. I was a PA at first. My dad's college roommate produced Rescue 911, and he also he's the creator and producer of Caesar the Dog Whisperer, and he also did My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Real successful guy named Jim Milio. And so he let me live with him. And I was just learning from him. I was living with him, being a PA, getting coffee, getting kookaroo, just doing whatever, driving around. And I got fired after 3 months because I was late all the time. So I have a punctuality issue, as you've seen. And so yesterday, we were supposed to do this yesterday. I'm like, hey, man, I'm running late. You're like, well, that doesn't work for me because I got to be somewhere.
Yeah, I had to pick up the
Today I'm
girls.
late. You're like, where are you?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm running late all the time. So wait, so you come out here and you start learning from him?
I started learning from him. He's a great guy. He taught me a lot about this town. But when he fired me, and he did it nice. Like, he called me. It wasn't like you're done. Fuck you. We're still friends. Like he brought me and he's like, Skyler, you're not cut out for being a PA or for that matter any production work. You're definitely here to make people laugh, and you need to focus on that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, because all I was trying to do was I wasn't a comic when I moved here. I have to be very honest about that. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I came up in Indiana and then I went to Chicago. I did like maybe 5 spots locally where I'm from and just tried it out. One time was at a party, by the way. I just said, hey guys, I want to try this out. I literally had no mic and I just told stories. You know what I mean? It was very more like Henry Rollins or John Leguizamo type stuff, just stories. There were no jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were just funny beats. But then when I got out here, I have to admit, I was very intimidated by stand-up when I got here. People are always like, Skyler, you're fearless. You don't get scared of me. I mean, and I am a very ballsy person, but the first time in my life I ever got scared was the first Laugh Factory show I ever attended. Well, actually, it was the second one because in Labor Day weekend of '98, I visited out here. I was 18, and my dad was filming a commercial out here. My dad writes commercials. And so he brought me out, and we stayed at a really nice hotel in La Cienega. And the first night out here, he goes, you want to go see some comedy? It seems like that's what you want to do. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. Takes me to the Laugh Factory. One of the greatest lineups ever. Dane, before he was Dane, just absolute nobody.
He was always Dane.
Well, yeah. But like, you know.
Like, in my opinion, I remember watching him, and I mean, he intimidated anyone that got on that stage.
Well, but at that time, since I didn't really know if I wanted to be a comic, I knew I wanted to be an actor for sure.
Yeah.
And that's I consider myself an actor before a comic, an actor who does stand up for therapy. I don't get up every night like everybody. I don't hang at the store every night. I don't do 6 spots a night. I don't even headline on the road a lot. I might do like 7 weekends a year. Like I very much focus on acting. And but at the time I didn't know which way I wanted to go. Dane actually inspired the fuck out of me. I saw him and I'm like, ooh, a high energy type thing. That's fun. Because I hadn't seen somebody like that since like Jim Carrey. Like he jumped on the stage and I thought I was watching a velociraptor.
I think we all felt that way, that when he got on stage, I remember thinking, oh, he's doing this different than I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, I got so excited by him. I didn't know and by the way, I walked away being most excited about him. And on this lineup that night was him, Ralphie, Adam Sandler, Jay Moore, Chris Spencer, and I don't remember the other comic, but that was the lineup. Talk about a great fucking lineup, dude.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And so I was excited that Adam Sandler was there, but he didn't really tell jokes. You could tell he was already past doing spots, and he might have just been at Greenblatt's eating, going, hey, I'm just going to go tell a story on stage. And that's how he treated it. It was pretty funny, but it was a lot of fame laughter. And so he got off stage. I went over and got a picture with Adam Sandler, tried to talk to him. I go, I'd love some advice on how to do this. And he didn't really want to talk. He took the photo and walked away. Wedding Singer had just come out. I mean, he could not have
wow. Yeah.
But Jay, I asked him for advice. Jay sits me down for 45 minutes, sits me and my dad down, gives me all this advice, and then he goes, hey, let me do you a quick favor real quick. Walks me over to Jamie Masada. He goes, hey, this is one of my good friends. What's your name? I go, Skyler. This is one of my good friends. He's going to come out and do comedy one day. You remember him. And when I came out, Jamie remembered me because of that fucking moment. That's how I kind of got in at the Laugh Factory. But dude, I remember seeing Dane and just going like, what the fuck, dude? I got really inspired by it. Then I come out here in 2000 and very similar lineup. The first night out here, just coincidentally, Jay's on the lineup, Chris Rock's on the lineup, and like 5 other comics. And Jay remembered me. Actually, he didn't remember my name, but he just remembered I was from Michigan. I wanted to be a comic. And that night, I got really intimidated because I'm like, well, I'm not. I would go to the Laugh Factory Friday 10 o'clock show. That's the best of the best, dude. Like, whoever's like in that zone at that time. I watched all of them, and I was like, I can't do this.
It's the best of the best who work at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, I guess
it's not the best of the best.
I mean, I don't know. To me, it was. They were really
now that you're a professional comedian, I'm sure you realize it's not the best of the best. I mean, like it's a good lineup, but like, I mean, in my opinion, at that same time, I was at the Improv, and the people working the Improv were Sarah Silverman, fucking Zach Galifianakis, Tosh. I mean, those are the best. I mean, like at that time, I remember going to the Improv, literally going to Laugh Factory and going, so these are the people that Jamie wants to represent.
Yeah, I understand.
It's very nepotistic, and you pick one or the the other.
I'm more of an improv guy.
I'm more of an improv
Jamie
guy
hates
too.
Me, so I have to be. And I get along with Rita, and everybody at the Improv, and that's where my monthly show is,
But I'm not taking away from anyone who forms the Laugh Factory. I remember realizing at a certain time, well, I'm not gonna I was not a fan of who was working that club other than Dane. Like Dane and Ralphie I dug, but like there were some people that I just didn't understand how they were getting spots.
What about Harlan? Harlan, I mean, you were a fan of his, weren't you?
No, Harlan was gone by the time I was there.
He was
there. Yeah, he was there a little bit, but I think he was I want to say he was in Denver when I was working the club the most. But like I said, I never really worked it too much. I never.
Harlan lived in Denver for a little bit.
I don't know.
I
saw Harlan. Yeah, I saw a little bit.
Have you had him on the podcast?
No.
He's so brilliant.
I saw Harlan one time. Bob Marley was really fucking talented.
Oh, Bob Marley could just.
Does he still live out here?
He was on that. That's the last comic I was trying to remember. 98 when I visited.
Bob Marley was a fucking amazing.
Oh,
I mean,
dude, crusher.
There was a time where the Laugh Factory, I was like, this is fucking bananas, fucking. But it was. But I will say this in all fairness. The only reason I say that is because Dane was so fucking good.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who went on. I mean, and I go, people shit on Dane, and you're allowed to. You're allowed to take shots at people you don't know, and because there's no repercussions.
Dude,
I will
it's
never take a shot at
retarded
Dane
that
because
was such a fucking bullshit thing that happened to him. Like, and the timing in which it happened, for everyone to shit on him, his most brilliant thing he ever did was go, you know what? I'm going to do isolated incident. I'm going to do an hour-long show, one take, one shot, not cutting away from anything. And that was the most honest piece of stand-up he ever did, talking about, you know what it's like to have both your parents die of fucking cancer?
I don't. And I'll tell you one thing. Right after both his parents died, I ran into him at the Improv, and he was such literally a different person.
Yeah.
That I mean, I was like, man, you really seem like, and he's like, it's perspective, man. My life's been turned upside down. But I will say
he got the world handed to him on a platter, and then the people that made that possible for him taken away at the same time, and then the world shit on him. And I just hated that. I hated seeing that happen.
Dane's
been nothing but awesome to me.
We had some mutual friends that were pretty shitty to him too. That were not, that I don't know, were jealous of him, I guess, at times. And I think, look, I was jealous. I just never said anything out loud because I was so below him. He could have helped me.
How could you not be jealous? He became like, and I don't give a shit if people think it's crazy, he was the Eddie Murphy of this generation. All of a sudden, he's a rock star. He's not a comedian.
Yeah.
Look what has, and see, Kevin Hart's getting a fairer shake at it. Now he's the rock star, and people aren't really shitting on him.
Well, it was. Let's see if there's a way to be fair about this.
Well, we live in snarky times. We live in a Chelsea lately, Daniel Tosh .0,
by the way,
Talk Soup times. I'm not making fun of those three people.
No,
I'm just saying we live in if you look back when you became a celebrity in the Carson era, it was all about love. You came on that show, you weren't ripped apart. And it wasn't about ripping apart the world. It was jovial. We just had some bourbon backstage, and we might even be drinking bourbon on the couch.
Yeah.
Good times,
I love that, by the way.
Rat-packish vibes.
Yeah.
We don't live in those times anymore. We live in fucking attack each other on a podcast, if you do one wrong thing in public, TMZ's on your ass, Tosh is on your ass, Chelsea lately is on your ass, everybody's on you. You can't make a mistake in this society. It's all videotaped and it's out there.
Yeah, and I would say that they're like I just turned my Twitter so that I only can read the comments from the people I follow. Because I was like
that's interesting.
Yeah, because I was like, why not? Why not?
Yeah.
Just see stuff from my friends. I fucking love that. But yeah, I think it's a little. People felt like he cheated because he did it, but Dane, because he did it, he got famous through the internet.
Oh, that's
and the internet was so new to people.
How about he's a pioneer for I sell out my monthly show every month now because watching the way that he used social media, it changed the game.
Oh, it changed the game forever, but it was the first person to change the game.
Yeah.
Literally the first person to change the game, and the first person to change the game. A lot of people go, well, I'm not doing it that way. That's bullshit. Now everyone's doing it that way. Well, now everyone does it that way.
I can understand. Okay, there's a certain element of, I'm sure there's some anger in some people. He not only did he change the game, he made it so you actually have to work harder in some ways, and also it made it easier, but although now you have to update all these different sites, you know what I mean, because of the way that he did it. And I think what people get mad about is, they think about Pryor and they're like, well, all Pryor had to do was be funny, and then and then after Pryor, the ways that you made it were you went to Aspen and you killed and you got a development deal, or you went to Montreal and you those days are all
yeah, but by the way, people shit on those guys just like they shit on Dane. The guys who would go in like Chicken. Do you remember him?
Who?
Chicken?
I don't know who that is.
Chicken was Michael Roof.
Okay.
He was a guy that went to Montreal, got a $500,750,000 development deal.
Those are gone, by the way.
Well, they're gone because of Chicken. He was but people shit on him because they were like, he's got no talent. Well, who knows if he had or didn't. He's killed himself since. But yeah, yeah. Oh, you've never heard the story of Chicken?
Is that the guy that jumped on the Comedy Store?
No, that was the what? 70s.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Chicken was it's a really fascinating story.
You just started laughing.
Yeah, no, there's a book about that when stand up stood out. It's really fucking good.
Oh wow.
Oh, you should read it. So Chicken was a guy, Michael Roof. He was from Dunellen in Florida, which is very kind of working class, poor white and black, I'm sure too. But and he was doing stand up up down the southeast, and he got discovered, and they got him a deal to go to Montreal, and he went to Montreal.
What year is this?
This is 97.
Okay.
No. This is 97.
Okay.
No. I'm sorry. It was when I was 26.
Okay.
I was probably 98, 99, right around then. So he gets a deal, goes to Montreal, does one set, and he fucking
kills it.
murders. And there's a bidding war, and he gets offered from the WB fucking $500,000, $750,000 for a development deal. They want to make a show starring him. And his manager, I think Dave Becky, this is all, I don't remember if this is true or not, but this is how it went down, I think, cancels the rest of his shows. You're done. Don't get on stage again. You had a great set. We got the money. Let's fucking bounce. Comes out to L.A., does like a showcase, and kind of, like, it was packed. I was there. Anthony Michael Clark was there. Anthony Clark was there.
Anthony Clark, yeah.
And
Anthony Michael Hall fucked Anthony Clark and made Anthony. Yeah.
And so, it was packed, and he went up, and he didn't do all that good. It was a lot of high energy stuff. It wasn't a lot of material, but he gets a show called Hype. Him and Frank Caliendo, they merge both their deals, and they turn into a show called Hype. And he is the star of Hype, but he doesn't have the power to carry a show. And nor does Frank at the time. Although Frank is so talented, he was like, they were like, we'll just plug him into anything. I mean, Frank can fucking literally could have a show tomorrow if he chose to.
Yeah, he's uber talented.
Yeah, and so and
never met him, but he's talented.
But Michael Roof necessarily wasn't good at impressions, and he didn't have any experience. So the show fails. He gets a couple parts in Triple X with Vin Diesel, and he was like the special forces guy that puts together the car or whatever. And he did Raising the Roofs with FX, which was a documentary about his family moving out to L.A., a bunch of rednecks, and then starts touring the road, and he's got a family, and then it wasn't the way he planned it, and I think he was going through some problems. He had a lot of good friends. Reno Collier was a good, Reno?
No.
Reno Collier, who tours with Larry the Cable Guy and is an amazingly talented comic who moved to Atlanta, and I told him, by the way, that was the most horrible idea he could ever have. Like one night drunk at the Improv, and next thing you know, he's touring with Larry the Cable Guy. He's fucking huge, selling out theaters now. Yeah. Reno Collier was good friends with him.
How'd he kill himself?
Hung himself in a hotel room on the road.
Oh.
Like he was just like done. But what was really sad, it was like the industry kind of like set him up to fail. They gave him all this money, and then they chewed him up, spit him out, and then he just was like how do I get back? And the industry isn't the most forgiving place. I mean, they will take you back, but you got to fucking like work your way back up, get on the road. And I don't think he looked at the road like I don't want to fucking be on the road. I don't think he even had a passion for stand-up. I think he ultimately wanted to be like an actor. Yeah. But it's a heartbreaking story. And I got to be honest with you, the guy wasn't that nice to me when I met him. I don't know love lost.
So a lot of people shit on him, huh?
A lot of people shit on him, and he wasn't. Let me be fair in defending a dead man. I think a lot of people wanted to see him fail, and so I'm sure he had his walls up. So when I did meet him, I was with Reno, and Reno introduced me, and he was very standoffish and kind of dismissed me. And I was like, and Reno's like, no, don't worry. But he had been given a dickload of money. He had been given the keys to the kingdom by WB. They had just created the WB, I want to say, and he was the star show on the WB.
See, I can relate to that because when I got here, I was intimidated but when I came to my first show after that one in 98 when I visited, in 2000 when I watched my first show, I was like, oh, I'm not ready for stand-up. I focused majorly on acting, and then I focused majorly on pranks, which is why Con was born. But when you have to understand, I didn't do stand-up for it's people are like, when did you start stand-up? I'm like, 98 is the first time I did it. Oh, so you've been a comic since 98? No, I really don't feel that way because I got here, I got intimidated. I didn't do it from 2000 to 2004. Yeah. So that's not a normal comics. So when you say like Thune and Owen and Pete Holmes, these guys coming to town to have this meteoric rise in stand-up, I didn't have that. So, I created Con. I sold Con in 2004. Then people were like, well, I heard you do stand-up too. And I'm like, oh, how'd you do that? Like, I don't know. People say that you used to do stand-up or you still do it. I'm like, well, I did it. And then I just didn't do it when I got here. And so Ben Glebe got me a guest spot at the Laugh Factory when he had a college night there. And so, it was basically like the baby before Comedy Juice was birthed. It was like, that's where him and Scotty started their first show. And I did it. And I have to remember, like when I got there, my ads were all over Comedy Central that time. So comics weren't that nice to me because I didn't do the normal route of, new faces at the Improv, open mic on a Tuesday at the Factory, hang out at the store begging for 3 minutes on a Sunday. Like, I didn't do any of that. I had a show on Comedy Central, and then I walked in and said, all right, guys, I do stand-up. And a lot of comics were not having that, dude.
No, yeah.
They were not that friendly to me, Some
think
were. Jeff Ross was very friendly to me. Jay Moore was very friendly to me. A lot of comics were, but, like, there were guys that were, I felt like you just said that we're looking at chicken. Like, I felt like people were like, I can't wait till this kid's show gets canceled. You know what I mean? Like,
well, a lot of people, I think that's natural in every comics. And
Yeah.
I think that, that we feel like there should be rules to working your way up and getting famous, because if there's rules, then it makes sense why that we're next in line. It gives us like a secured feeling, and I think everyone. It was one of the things was that everyone loved so much about Dane was that he hadn't gotten famous, so it made sense that the system was broken. That if Dane's not famous, then you know what, the system's just fucking broken. And then when he got famous, everyone's like, I'm sorry. So wait, the rule is you have to work hard all fucking day long, and you got to do sets every fucking night, and you got to be uber passionate and almost psychotic about the business to fucking
dude,
get.
he was one of the most focused individuals ever.
Still is.
Still is. Yeah. He was a guy that got up all the time. Dude, he got an apartment right next to Laugh Factory, so he could just walk there.
Yeah.
And do his shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, he's but yeah,
he lived in an apartment that both Steve Martin and Jim Belushi lived in.
yeah.
That's crazy.
The Kennedys own that.
The what?
The Kennedys owned that. That was their like compound in L.A. when they come out to party.
Do they still own it?
Probably. I'm sure they somehow. It's a pretty. Have you ever been to his place?
I haven't.
Fucking! It was pretty badass.
Was the apartment nice?
Yeah,
too?
it was pretty like fucking jaw dropping. I remember when I moved out, Bertcast was like, "Papa, you can be one of two people. You can live in a great fucking place and pay some money because you got the money, or you can try to save your money and live in a shithole." And he was like, "There are certain people like Dane who like nice things." And I was like, "Wow!" So I went over to Dane's place.
Did Barry represent you?
Yeah, for a long time.
For how long?
10 years.
No shit.
Yeah, 10 years.
How did that end?
I fired him.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I could say a number of things. I will say that I did not provide him enough work to be super interested in me. That's the fairest way to say it. I felt like I wasn't getting a lot of attention, and I felt like a lot of things were slipping through the crack. I think he had a lot of big clients that he was trying to, manage their careers. So I remember one time, Barry very seldomly drank, like never drank. And I remember one time,
I don't know if I've ever seen him drink. Yeah.
I remember one time seeing him drink. I want to say he drank a Shirley Temple with vodka in it. Mm-hmm. And we were at the downstairs of the Boston Comedy Club, and he just said to me, I'm fucking done with fucking making people famous. Like, when's my turn? I remember going, the writing's on the wall. Like, I need to get the fuck out. And now I think he's doing that. Quite honestly, I think he's making a name for himself in this business with his podcast. You ever listen to his podcast?
I have. I listened to the
fucking good.
Well,
he's a really good,
some honest advice on how to and not to do some things. He's given some great advice.
He's very. I will never shit on Barry to anyone. I will tell you one thing. I think if he is interested in you, he can make magic happen. He made magic happen for me a number of times. I think he gave me some of the greatest advice. He was such a great he could inspire you to do things that you didn't know you were capable of doing. Those were all great things. He was very difficult to talk to and argue with. Like, you'd have to come in with a list with stuff on a piece of paper, because if you didn't, he would confuse you, and he'd have you walking out going, did I just agree to give him 20%? Like, he's just one of those, like, really good. That's what you want that as a manager. You want that from as a manager. But I just wasn't happy there. And I went over to Levity, and since the day I left Barry, I've worked every single fucking day. Wow. Every single fucking day I've worked, and I don't have any complaints. And every dream that I've ever dreamt for myself is set up to be actualized, like, within the next 4 months. So wow. I have no complaints. There was some. I will say it was a very unhealthy. There was a lot of unhealthiness during that period of my life with a lot of things, and I'm glad to be past it. I'm glad to be fucking like where I'm at now.
Do you run into him?
No, but if I did, I'd.
Well, you've never seen him one day since you let go of him?
No.
What year was that?
Oh wait, I saw him one time. He told me my hour special was going to come out, and he said to me, he goes,
Was it a Comedy Central special?
yeah, he goes, let me tell you something, Papa. No one's going to see it, okay? I'm giving you a heads up. I don't want you to lose your stomach and get upset. These things. He goes, I'm going to compliment you before I give you the honest truth. He's like...
He does that a lot.
He's like, you're in a handful of the top artists in your profession. How many people do you think about an hour special? And I was like, I don't know. It's like that kind of conversation for me ultimately is not what I want in life. I don't want to be having that conversation with anyone about like where we playing games. You know, like when I talk to Judy now, it's fucking, hey, this is what's happening. Okay, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And then you're like, let's do this. All right, great. Or I can call her and go, hey, I'm unhappy about this. Can you make sure that this happens a different way with these people?
You and your wife.
She'll be like, Judy, my manager.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
Kind of my wife. Like, yeah, I have, yeah, like,
Yeah.
but she just is, that's the way we operate. Barry is a little bit of a performer, and he loved to talk in like scenarios and you know, and it would confuse me, and then I'd just be sitting there like, what the fuck did he just say? Like, how the fuck did this? But he was like, you're in a top handful of your performers, and it's fine. It's a great thing. Now, here's the bad news. How many of these hour specials do you think turn people into stars? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like 1%. 1%. So you got to understand nothing's going to happen with this.
Jesus.
But it's Barry, and that's the way he talks to you, and you can't. I mean, it's like if you're not cool with it, don't fucking be his manager. By the way, he wasn't even representing me when we had this conversation. We were just talking.
I reached out to him once. I was in a bad place and needed a new rep, and usually you should let people reach out to you. You know, you shouldn't kind of go with your groveling to a rep, like, hey, will you represent me? But, I knew him, and I knew he knew me, and I knew he respected me because he had paid me compliments, like, I think on Twitter or something, or he told some, oh, no, I remember. One time I ran into him in Malibu, and he had his kids, and he told his kids, he goes, this is one of the finest acting comedians you'll ever see. He's an actually good actor.
His kids are beautiful.
Oh, they really are, right?
Dude, he's got 2 stud sons.
Yeah.
Stud sons.
So I reached out to him and we sat down, and he wrote me back right away. I'm like, I'd love to sit down and talk to you, man. I'm trying to figure out the next phase of my career, and I was hinting at like, I'm interested in maybe working with you. So he had me come in, and it was a great meeting. I mean, I could listen to him talk forever. He really does know a lot, man. I was in there probably 2.5 hours, and we talked for a long time. But he ended it with it, like he tried to like tell me what has happened to me. Like he said, look, here's the deal. You came out here, you got a lot of attention. Things happen for Skyler Stone.
It's amazing for a guy who can do amazing impressions. You cannot do a Barry to save your life.
I'm not really actually trying.
Try.
You want me to try?
I'm going to give you. You want a real impression of Barry?
Yeah.
This is my real impression of Barry. Okay.
Well, no one does it better than
Watch.
Jay, dude.
No.
I don't know. Jay's is pretty good.
No, trust me.
Ben
I'm
Gleaves
telling
is
you.
terrible. Ben tried to do it. It's terrible.
No, Elon Gold has the best one.
Oh, I don't know him.
Elon Gold has the best one. Everyone's a derivation of Elon Gold. I think he was the first one to do it back in the fucking day. Mm-hmm. But this is a real impression of Barry. Like, this is like not just the voice. This is Barry, okay? Mm-hmm. So you're going to be Skyler, and I'll be me, okay? Mm-hmm. Hey, Papa, how was the show last week?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, I killed. And he just stares?
And he waits for you to keep talking so that you tell him all the information that you would never tell a fucking soul because you're uncomfortable with silence, and he just stares at you, and you're like, it was good. I had a couple beers. I shouldn't be drinking. And then I hit somebody. I
hit my father.
I killed a homeless man. And Barry's like, and then you realize he's not even listening. He's on typing an email.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Barry. He's a great guy. I have nothing negative to say about him. I'll be honest about my relationship with him and why I left him. But I love Barry. I'm
not being negative. But I don't
think you're being negative about him at all.
What I didn't understand was he broke me down at the end, and I get that he's all about like making you feel like he's very honest, which he obviously is.
He is very honest.
But he just said, you came out here, a lot of things happened for you, it didn't work out, and I'm like, huh? Like he goes, you had a moment. There's a moment where everybody's, like, who is this guy, and then and then you have a couple personal issues. Because I was honest with him in the meeting and said, there are a couple years.
He doesn't understand partying.
Oh,
he can't wrap his head around someone who would use drugs or drink. I want to say that must have been in his family or something. I think his father passed away when he was really young. But
then he just said to me, he goes, so that now you're back, on the rise and you're trying to turn things around. But I've got news for you. It's way harder the second time around, if you think the percentage of the first time around. But I'm looking at him like, I know it's hard. Like, I don't understand how he thought he was giving me new. Like, I know it's hard. And I know this, like, it is easier to come in, have a boom, and just, like, keep going, But, like, dude, like, even going back around to, like, Owen Benjamin and Thune, like, those guys had a meteor. How do you say it again? Meteoric rise right when they got here, and then they plateaued for a second. And Owen just finally got on Sullivan and Son, and now he's back. Like he had a lull and went back up.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. Like, I guess the ultimate truth is, hey, if you want to feel good, call your mom. If you want the truth, call Barry. Barry will tell you the truth of what he thinks. Now, I don't think his.
But he told me like I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I
know it's hard.
Yeah, I would never talk to someone like that because I don't think that. Here's the thing that's so fucking crazy is this business is not set up like that. You did not come out here a household name and then flop in front of everybody. I flopped in front of the town a little bit. No, not even, dude. Everyone has a show that gets canceled.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
I remember my first show that got canceled. My producer Mark Cronin, who
love Cronin.
He pulls me aside. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you the good news. The good news is you're in the majority. Everyone's show gets canceled. The bad news is every show you're ever going to be on is going to get canceled. So get used to it." And I was like, "You're right." And that's the truth. You did not flop in front of anyone. You were a household name to a handful of comics who had seen your show and who wanted you to fail, probably. Mm-hmm. And then when you do start coming back, people comics are the most deceiving cunts in the world. We welcome you back. We're like, oh, guess who's coming back in the scene? Hey, man, loved your show. That's how comics work. Had you been a hit, every comic would have fucking hated your guts. But I feel
like comics do hate my guts. I don't feel liked in the community. I don't know. I'm sure you've heard someone talk shit on me before.
I've never heard anyone talk shit about you. Dead serious.
Are you serious?
I'm being dead serious. I've never heard anyone. I've heard things.
I've heard Owen things all the time. Owen goes, "That is so your own thing." He goes, "You just think that." He's like, "I don't know." He goes, "That's gonna be a big issue for you." He's like, he used to say that to me a lot. I'm like, "You're telling me someone?" I feel like people. I don't know. I feel like they talk shit about me.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I don't think anyone. Look, there is. I used to think the same thing. I used to think people hated me.
No one says anything bad about you, Bert, dude. You're like a lovable teddy bear, dude.
Yeah, but I used to think people disliked me, and then I realized, oh, you know what I've been thinking about all day is me.
Yeah.
And that's who every comic thinks about them the entire time. I used to Google people's fucking websites and see their tour dates and be like fucking obsessed. Yeah. I remember I was obsessed with how much Daniel Tosh toured. I remember Gary and Goldman and I looked at his website together at a coffee bean and we were like, dude, this guy's on the road every fucking day. Like, what the fuck? I've never even seen him on anything. Like, Gary and I were like, Gary's been on like late night talk shows. I had my own TV show twice. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And I remember running into Tosh, having had a conversation with him a million times over my head at the Improv. And I was like, and he was really nice. He was like, hey, how you doing? I'm Daniel. I was like, I'm Bert. And he was like, hey, nice to meet you.
Are you guys boys still?
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I say this out loud. It probably wouldn't actually happen. But if I needed something, I could definitely call him. Like if I needed, I don't know what I'd need from him. Wouldn't need money, but like whatever. But like advice, or if I wanted to talk to someone about some shit, I could definitely call him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's one of the fucking nicest guys. Everyone goes, oh, I met Tosh. He was kind of an asshole or whatever. People have opinions.
I've never felt that way about him.
I've never felt that way ever. I think he's very honest. Yeah. Like I think he's really brutally honest. But I get a kick out of him.
Isn't it funny though how people love to start rumors about anyone that's doing well? Like people have started rumors about him. There's been people that are like, "Oh, is he gay?" I'm like, "He's not." Like, why do people? People say the dumbest.
Yeah,
shit.
I've spent a weekend on the road with him. He's not gay.
Yeah, I know he's not. I just think it's funny how like somebody gets to the forefront and then like right away the shit comes out.
Here's the thing: everyone knows the bad people in this business.
Yeah,
you know for a fact who the bad people are because people tell you that's a bad person. Yeah. Everyone knows who the bad people are, and we all stay away from those people. Yeah, and we keep them out of our lives, and then the good people we kind of aggregate towards. I mean, there's a reason that the fucking.
Who's a star that you met that you were so disappointed to find out?
Gene Simmons.
Wow.
Gene Simmons was a cunt. He was an absolute cunt to me. I've never been treated.
I met him too somehow, and he wasn't that cool. He did a cameo in something, and I was there, and he was really weird to everybody. I don't remember what it was. A music video. That was back in my extra days as well. Yeah. He was really weird.
He was an asshole. I told a story about it on Rogan's podcast a long time ago, but everyone knows my feelings are fuck Gene Simmons.
Nicest man I've ever met that's famous that did not disappoint me and exceeded my expectations. Henry Winkler.
Though I'll tell you the one that all my crew has worked with. There's two people my crew has worked with that, and I only say that because I have no real I can't really tell if someone's an asshole per se nowadays. I know that everyone's got their own fucking drama. Gene Simmons is a isolated incident. Not to steal from Dane, but Rogan got huge props from my crew because he showed up on time, came up and introduced himself to everyone, took a picture with everyone, and then said goodbye to everyone and shook everyone's hand and looked him in the eyes. And they all fucking all my crew, all the people I tour with to do the show are all hardcore, blue collar working guys, carry the fucking gear, and they fucking love that and Colin Quinn. They loved that and Bobby Kelly. They love Bobby Kelly.
Wait, hold on.
For Travel Channel.
Wait, who was the first person you said that everybody
loved? Rogan, Colin Quinn, and Bobby Kelly are their three favorite dudes.
Wow.
Ever. Jason Ratboy Collins, the pro surfer. They fucking loved him.
Jason who?
Ratboy Collins. He's a...
Oh, they said Jason Collins. Do you know Jason Collins?
I do, as a matter of fact.
I love Jason.
We went surfing with Jason Collins and then ran into him, Jason Collins, the comic, right? At a road gig he was doing with some girl. Oh, fuck, I forget her name. Really pretty, really funny. Fuck, I'm sorry. But yeah, we ran into them.
No, pretty comics.
Who's your go-to? Who's your go-to guy? Probably your best friend in the business right now.
My best friend in the business?
Yeah. I had an offer. Oh shit! Do I have? No. I had an offer to do something, and it was a really great opportunity, but it could be a really bad opportunity. I didn't know, and my go-to calls are Buns. I'll call Buns, Rogan, Joey, maybe Ari. If I have something those are my go-to calls usually. Who are your go-to calls? Say you get offered something big, but you don't know it may really fuck up your career.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's hard to explain without me explaining the exact same thing.
So wait, you mean if I get offered something?
Advice.
Oh, if I need advice?
Yeah.
Well, the people I call for advice aren't necessarily my best friends.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I call Henry Winkler for advice. I have his phone number, and I talk to him a lot, but we don't hang out.
Yeah.
He's
a good person.
I call...
One of the sweetest guys in the fucking world.
Jim Millio still gives me a lot of advice. The guy I said earlier that I lived with. Mark Cronin gives me advice. I've known Mark Cronin for years. Jay gives me advice.
Cronin's a fucking great guy to give advice to. He gave me advice, and
Dane gives me a lot of good advice.
Really?
Dane's really... You know what? Dane's just always been there for me. I mean, I've pissed him off a couple times, pissed off everybody a couple times, but he's really always he always gets back to me, and especially at the height of his career, he probably gave me more advice during that time than ever. I remember fucking hitting up Dane while SNL was happening, saying you're killing it, and he wrote me back during the live broadcast.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, Dane's always been really cool. We were in waiting together, so and I let him know I was a fan right away. We were in the kitchen. And, he had that. You remember that joke he used to do for Burger King, the pickles and the cheese and the cheese and the pickles? So we're cooks in waiting, me, Louis Guzman, and Dane. And, we had to put toppings on something. And we did a take where I go, Dane, do you mind putting some pickles and some cheese and some pickles on? And totally they're not going to put that in the movie because that breaks the character. And, it's a reference to his stand-up. But he remember going, respect, cool. And, I think I won him over at that moment, let him know I was a fan. Dane's always given a lot of good advice. I guess, who do I go to, a movie with or hang out with?
Yeah.
I'm really close with Ben Glebe.
Yeah, okay.
Really close with
Glebe. Glebe's great. A great fucking dude.
I don't hang out with him a lot, but I have a lot of good, long conversations on the phone with Adam Ray. I think he's a really good dude, and he came to me for some advice years ago before he started working a lot and really needed some help and figuring out management stuff. And I gave him some advice. And so we've always had a lot of respect for each other. Yeah, I don't hang out with hang out with a lot of comics.
I used to not, and now I do.
Yeah.
Like I used to just be in a kind of like an isolated, like just me.
Yeah.
And now I'm a little more like I have a lot of friends that I feel like I can talk to or text with, like Al Madrigal and fucking Bill Burr came over and we bullshitted and then did a podcast. But it's like, it's so funny. You forget what fucking friends are because this business is so fucked up.
Yeah.
And so many people fucking, so many people are not your friend.
My best friends, I have co-best men in my wedding, and neither one of them are in the business, but both used to be.
Yeah.
So I think I've been very attracted to people that are that get out of the business for some reason. I don't know why.
Do you think what's your goal in this business?
I want to host the MTV Movie Awards. So whatever path takes me to that. If once I get to the level where I'm
such a
asked to do something
fucking
like that,
interesting goal.
I'd love to do that. I just love to host that or the VMAs. I think if you're doing that, you've done something right. I just love to do. I think I could kill.
So
like that.
Is that the goal, or is it all the stuff around you that would get you to that point?
Both.
Like some people go, my goal is to guest host on Saturday Night Live. Like,
well, then go ahead and throw that in there too, because since I didn't get it, the way that I got over is tell myself, all right, I'm not meant to be a cast member. I'm going to be a host one day. I'm going to be like Alec Baldwin. I'm going to come do it a bunch of times.
yeah, that would be cool.
I'd love to host SNL.
I get the older I get, the more my dreams just kind of fucking come into like real positive, like possible things. Like I just would like to shoot a show in LA.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool with that. Like I'm cool with being a dad and doing the road. I think I got great. Like I think I got to a place where I have a good fan base, and I'd love to tour with other comics.
Yeah.
I'd always wanted to do that for a long time, but I don't think I ever, that ever made sense. I think now I'm at the time, like I'm doing New Year's Eve with Benson, Pete Holmes,
Where?
Moshe, Natasha, and why can't I remember his name right now? He's on TBS. He's got a show on TBS.
Rory Scovel.
I
love that guy.
Yeah,
Did you see his Conan set?
Oh, and TJ Miller is now doing
Did you
it
see
too.
his Conan set?
Nah, but yes, I'm sure I have. But I think he's really. I think he's really fucking funny.
But wait, what is his show and where is it?
It's at some Masonic temple. It's like a big theater.
What city?
San Francisco for New Year's Eve.
No shit.
Yeah, and so like that's fun.
How did you all get on that? Did you help each other get it on, or who booked it?
Doug Benson.
Oh, Doug Benson. So he's just selecting people to put.
I think he decided who he wanted on the show and said, "Hey guys, I'm going to put together the show. It's great money."
TJ Miller is one of those people that
I'm a big TJ Miller fan.
He kills me,
and
dude.
I'll tell you why.
So funny.
He is just nothing but yes and. I love that about him.
Oh yeah.
I get a kick out of that guy.
He'll
so
go
much.
with it. Yeah.
But yeah, he's
an interesting dude. I heard a rumor that he tested for SNL and he got drunk before it. I don't know if that's true or not, and I don't want to start spreading shit, but I could see him like not caring. He's got a little bit of that Belushi.
I could totally see him not caring.
I don't give a fuck.
It's part of the being successful in this business and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Those people who give a fuck, it eats them alive.
Yeah.
When you genuinely don't care, that's when you're at your best.
Yeah.
That's why fucking Andy Samberg got that. I bet he really didn't give a fuck.
He didn't give a fuck.
He was like, I'm going to make it in this business. I'm good looking. I'm funny. I can write my own shit. I can shoot my own shit. I know how to post my own shit.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody.
Yeah.
That's when you feel you do your best. You're like, I don't need a fucking soul. I still need a lot of people in my life.
Who's the one famous person you wish you had their phone number and you could just text them? I can tell you mine right away. Michael Keaton.
Really?
I wish I just knew Michael Keaton.
It's a good question.
I'd love to text Keaton right now and go, "Yo, Bert says what's up," and just have him go, "Oh yeah, tell Bert what's up."
Okay, Michael Keaton would be a good one.
Yeah, I'd love.
He would be a good one. I would have thought it would have been Chevy Chase for a while, but
After the stories you've heard, yeah,
I've heard some stories, and I just go, I guess we probably wouldn't get along.
Yeah.
That sucks. But don't believe what you fucking hear. I had Elliot Gould was a good friend for a while.
no shit.
Yeah, and he was.
Well, that doesn't count. It's got to be someone that you wish.
I know.
From
I know,
afar.
but that was one that I didn't expect to see. And
Well, who
then
are
I
your
was like,
biggest
wow.
comedy influences? You obviously would like to know that person.
I don't have any real big influences right now.
We talk. I'm talking about when you're a kid, like Carlin.
They're all
anybody?
dead. They're all fucking dead.
Oh, they could be dead.
No, that doesn't.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's got to be
You're
famous.
gonna tell me there's not someone alive that you wish you knew? There's not an actor. You're like,
I'd
oh,
like
God.
to.
Bill Murray. Wouldn't you love to know Bill Murray?
I don't know if me and him would click the way I'd want us to. See, that's my
I
other
think
thing.
you guys would click.
That's my thing.
I think you guys would click.
Maybe
I've
Bill
heard
Murray
stories
would
about
be.
him.
Bill Murray would be a
He's
pretty
Bert-esque from what I've heard.
Maybe it's just I was a kid when I watched him, and I just developed my life to be like him when I grew up.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I remember Bert the Conqueror tested through the roof. Every show I've ever done, I tested through the roof with young boys. Hurt Bert was like fucking massive. The numbers were like through the roof with like boys 14 to 18. And I was like, oh, let me be there, Bill Murray. Bill Murray defined my personality.
He's so amazing.
Oh, completely. Bill Murray, fucking Chevy Chase. Fletch was one of my favorite movies ever. I lived my life like Fletch.
If it weren't for Fletch, Con wouldn't have happened. Like, just watching him sneak into things and talk his way into things and con people, that was the birth of Con for me. Just figuring out how to pull one over on someone. Because the whole movie, he's like, it's all ball bearings. You know what I mean? Like, he's like being that guy, and like he's just always taking on a character and getting into things. And I like that. I really liked that.
I wish I had a better connection with Johnny Knoxville.
I know Knoxville.
I know him. You know a lot of famous people though.
I do. Yeah.
Is it from acting?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess so. Yeah.
Are you the kind of person that when you say, "Hey man, let's keep in touch," you actually keep in touch?
For sure.
I'm not that person.
Oh, I say. Well, I know you're not. We're friends. You barely even text me back.
Yeah. I, like literally, if people go, "Hey, we should keep in touch," I go, "Yeah." And if they don't call me like within the next 24 hours, we probably will never speak again.
I'm really good at keeping over my life. So much so, we're planning our wedding right now, and Nicole is like, I'm Bridezilla, not Nicole. Like, I want a big party and a ton of people there. Nicole's like, Skyler, I've been married before. Let's get 12 people and go to fucking Italy and call it a day. You'll thank me. She's like, it's a big waste of money.
It's a fucking tremendous waste of money, but you know what? You only get married a couple times.
You've only been married once, right?
This is the best fucking. My wife's the big fucking. She's the fucking grounding unit in my life.
Well,
like,
she's a badass.
She's the reason I started going to therapy. She was like, you need to talk about what's going on in your head.
Yeah.
It's not healthy to fucking just let things sit there. She's the reason I do these cleanses. She's the reason I work out. She's the reason we have a man cave. She's the reason that I fucking actualize a lot of my goals because I put it out there. I say it out loud.
Yeah.
I want to do a sitcom. Well, fucking, I'm doing a sitcom. I want to do a fucking.
Are you doing a sitcom?
Yeah.
You're writing one?
No, it's I have a deal over at NBC. Anyway, but yeah, my wife got me to start like putting positive things out there, and like, I mean, she's the reason I fired Barry. She's the reason I have the friends I have now. I mean, she's just one of those people. She's like just old school. She's very honest with everything you fucking do. But yeah, I don't know, man. So what would be your path to getting to hosting the VMAs?
Well, I have a couple plans right now. I just wrote a script called I Used to Be Awesome. And it's about a famous therapy trip of mine where I walked into my therapist. 08, 09 were 2 bad years for me. I was taking Vicodin. I was getting very edgy. My grandpa died, who was my best friend. I know a lot of people say they were close to their grandparents. Like, it was like almost unhealthy how close he and I were. Like, I talked to him every day. Like we were like best friends.
Yeah.
And so he died, and I lost my mind. I wasn't prepared for that. And it was the writer's strike. The whole world financially was crashing. It was just
it was a fucking bad year for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was crazy. You know what I mean? But a lot of mine was coming from within. It really had nothing to do with as much with my grandpa's death as I thought, and as much to do with the writer's strike or the financial crisis I thought. It was all about me. And I ran in crying to my therapist, and I said, I used to be awesome. And he goes, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And so we talked about that, and I go, I'm a piece of shit. I go, Barry actually had this tweet the other day. Barry Katz, I really like his tweets, actually. Again, I hope it didn't sound like I was saying bad things about him.
No, you're not. You're not. And look, no one said bad things about anybody.
Yeah.
But no one said anything bad about Barry. And even all the stuff I say about Barry, if it's construed negative, look, those are just my experiences.
Yeah.
I love Barry. I do. If he asked me to do a favor for him tomorrow, hey, Papa, I got a fucking DVD I'm putting together.
Yeah.
Would you? I'd be there in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of the guy. Just look, I'm just at a different place in my life, and I do different things. And I don't think you did. I listen to Barry's podcast, not all of them, but he is a good interviewer.
Oh yeah, no, he really is. And basically, so what happened was I remember going to this therapy session, and I said that, and he goes, let's talk about that. And I go, all right. And so we got into it, and we talked about like why I became the way that I became, and what happened to me. And he goes, I want you to write an email to everyone you know. And I go, oh God. And he goes, I want you to call it I Used to Be Awesome, because that's how you feel. He goes, and I want you to let everyone know that that you're validating your feelings, that you feel like you were a good person one time, and you became whatever you became, and you're very sorry. Because you cannot write this email if you're not going to apologize, and you cannot write this email if you're not willing at the end to go, if there's one thing about me that you could change, what would it be? And so I wrote this to everyone, Bert, and I've never gotten more replies quicker. Everybody had an opinion on what I need to change. But there were motifs. There were certain ones that just lined up. There were ones that a lot of it was like you only reach out when you need something. You know what I mean? Which is the opposite of what Joey became. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, yeah. Joey just became a friend. So I was guilty of being the very thing that you said that you were appreciative about Joey. Like I was the opposite. I was the guy like, well, we can get breakfast, but you got a spot for me on your show. Like I was very selfish for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know how I got there because I was not raised that way and I wasn't that way.
This city can turn you that.
8 years I spent in this town not being that guy, and then all of a sudden I just was that guy. It was very weird. So I wrote the email, and all these people wrote back. So I just wrote a script, and it's all about every episode. It's kind of like My Name is Earl in the sense that I'm repairing my life, and going to one person at a time. But instead of it being like, oh, one time, My Name is Earl is more goofy and it's very silly things scenarios he got himself in. This is more grounded, more real, more like just relationships that I fucked up. And every episode is going to be me opening up, reading one of these emails saying, oh, well, this is Bert. Bert was a friend of mine many years ago, and this is what I did to him. Yeah. And this is how Bert feels I need to change. And, today I'm going to go pay Bert a visit. And then everybody kind of becomes a character in my universe after they've been introduced in an episode, and it's all about me, becoming a better person. So.
Okay, I'm going to play a game with you. I'm going to see if you can name all your credits. Let's see.
All my credits?
No, oh God. Fuck, you have a lot of goddamn credits.
Are you on IMDb?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've been working for a long time.
Okay, don't think about it. Now, see if you can name as many credits as you can. Okay?
And how long?
Let's see if you can go start with your first credit. Your first credit was
on IMDb?
Yeah. Oh no, yeah.
It might have been that MTV show. Oh my God, I don't even know the name of it. It was an MTV show where it was a prank show where, oh my God.
Okay.
What does it start with?
Into the Woods? In the Woods?
Oh my God, that was an uncredited extra in a Michigan film that was shot in Michigan that never got released.
Okay, better yet, let's do this. I'll name a fucking credit, and you just give me one word answers, okay? Like you just say one first word that pops into your mind when I tell you that.
Oh my God.
Or like first phrase, Scarlett Johansson's tits or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like whatever. Okay, ready? Flipped.
High. I was high while I shot that.
Hector.
Never released.
Van Wilder. You were in Van Wilder?
Yeah.
Are you shitting me?
Yeah. How funny is that?
Van Wilder.
Yeah. Oh man. Lucky.
Okay.
The director loved me, and he ended up giving me a featured spot, and that started a lot.
Walt Becker.
Walt's a great guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Rules of Attraction.
Nasty.
Do you know who's in Rules of Attraction that I was friends with?
Who?
Who's the fucking lead? Ian
Somerhalder?
Yeah.
Great dude.
Scare Tactics.
Evil. That show is so fucked up.
Really?
Dude, it's punked, but with real people, and it's all about scaring the living. I can't believe I couldn't get any prank signed. You should see the list of pranks that were turned down by Comedy Central. Like you can. Really? What if you gave someone a heart attack? Like just crazy. Like, what if someone flipped out and pulled a knife on you? That show is all about bringing people to the brink of I can't
losing their shit.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Okay. Stuck on You.
Family. Dude, being on that set was like being on it was a family barbecue. The Farrelly brothers are tied with Henry Winkler as the nicest men in Hollywood.
Nice. Days Like These.
Adventurous. It was a short film. It was one of the best times of my life. One of the greatest eras of my life.
Con.
Hard. Completely hard to pull off.
Really?
Very thankful, but very hard to pull off. Lawsuits galore. Got canceled. Ratings were fine. Got canceled because of how hard it was.
Smart Card.
Interesting. It's a really good short film.
The Island.
Cut out.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get to meet Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah, I played her husband.
Did you kiss her?
Yep.
Are you shitting me?
Nope.
Is she tall?
Not really.
Is she as hot in person as?
Oh, she's a gem.
Waiting.
one of the most fun fucking times. We shot that in New Orleans during Mardi Gras.
Are you
so
serious?
like it was like set call time 7 a.m. Shoot till way late at night. Go straight to Mardi Gras. Party all night. Go straight back to set.
Accepted.
Disappointed. Not into what it was a great movie.
Justin Long?
I was up for Justin's role and Justin got it, and then I got a smaller part of the movie. That's actually a motif in my life. Justin, and he's a really nice guy, and I have nothing bad to say about him. He has beat me so many times. Like waiting, I auditioned for his part, didn't get it, ended up getting a small part, accept it. Auditioned for the lead, didn't get it, got a small part. Directors always go, God, he's so funny. He's just not the lead of this movie. I still want him in it, though. Here's a part.
Wow, Skyler's Revolution.
Smiles.
Yeah.
I got all my friends on that show. All my friends. I got everybody on that show.
Wait, what's For Your Consideration?
Christopher Guest movie.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
Lucky to be invited into a crew like that.
All right, we're going to try to find... Jesus Christ, Skyler. You on Lost?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, mind-blowing, dude. Going to Hawaii. That was amazing.
Who did you play on Lost?
I was an EMT. I saved John Locke's life in the 5th to last episode.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay. God, you were in Hostel?
Hostel 3. Yeah. Nasty.
Raising Hope? I've heard of that show.
Raising Hope. Yeah, I've done like 7 episodes of that.
Castle. Walking with Dinosaurs.
Walking with Dinosaurs. Coming out December 20th. 3D and IMAX, baby.
I'll get to see that with my kids and go.
Mind-blowing animation. James Cameron's comedy to the animation. Justin Long is a voice in it.
Were you originally up for the Patchy part?
No, but that'd be funny. Justin Long is the lead. He's Patchy. He's a packy rhinosaur. He's like the little engine that could. He's the little guy that becomes a hero. I'm his older, slightly evil, douchebaggy alpha male brother named Scowler. Skyler playing Scowler. And then John Leguizamo is the prehistoric bird who narrates the whole movie. And then there's a girl named, I think her name's Tira Sarkar. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. She's the Indian gal from the Internship with Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, and she's his love interest.
Jesus Christ, man, you've been in a lot of fucking movies.
Yeah,
it's fucking insane. I always thought you're like, oh, he's got like a couple credits. He's been in like Con and let's see how many. So you have 48 actor roles. Let's see, Bert. Let's see how many I have. Bert, is that just
you
like
probably have a lot of self
comic?
roles though, because you've played yourself a lot. You've hosted a lot, and
I have. Let's see. Oh, I don't even have an IMDb.
What's that back there?
What?
Oh, sunflower seeds. I was hoping it was beef jerky.
Bert Kreischer.
I love your man cave, by the way, dude. I'm coming over here and we're gonna watch a movie together.
Dude, you should come over more often and we'll do fucking
we'll just
full
walk over
filmography. Yeah, you. Oh God, man. Yeah, I've got 26 for myself.
That's a lot.
It's all I guess I kind of got the gig hosting and then 5 actors.
You were on Letterman?
Yeah.
As a couch guest?
Yeah.
Or stand up?
Panel.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Was that fun?
Oh, it was fucking
What's
amazing.
he like?
Dude, it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. Justin Eric Stengel I think they're in a deal now at Worldwide Pants, but they were the heads of the executive producers and the head writers of the show. They kind of ran the show, and I met Justin through my buddy Cowhead, and Justin was like, I think you're great. I'd love to get you on the show. And he's like, you're really funny. I think Dave would love you. I was like, great. He's like, let's find a time. So we found a time, and Bert the Conqueror had just been canceled, and they were like, we want to have you on for Bert the Conqueror. And I was like, no, I'll promote it, but it's not, yeah. So I went on, and then we got there, and then all those writers were like, I want to hear the Machine. They were big fans of Rogan, and they were like, I want to hear the Machine story. I want to hear, like, can you tell the Machine story to Dave? Can you tell this story? Can you tell the Tracy Morgan story? Can you tell all these stories? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to, but I think they're too long. And they're like, all right. So we got these like 4 questions. They're like, you got a minute and a half. It's, the interview with what's his name went long, and I was like, okay. And they're like minute and a half, 2 minutes tops. So your answers need to be fun. Just have a good time. We did 7.5 minutes, and it was bizarre. You walk out and you assume that you walk out and it's freezing, but it's pitch black, and so you hear the audience applauding, and you want to acknowledge them. I'm always fascinated at how people acknowledge audiences when they walk out. Yeah, because your genuine reaction is to do something funny. I saw John Mulaney randomly on Pete Holmes' show, and he did like firing guns at the audience, like bam, 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 and I was like, that's so odd because I know that feeling, and you do feel uncomfortable. You don't know how to react to them applauding. They don't really know who you are.
Yeah.
So I wanted to wave, but I was like, I'm not going to wave. They don't know who I am. And then you sit down, and you want to look over, because you've seen people do it, you want to look over to Paul and be like, hey, Paul. But I don't know Paul, so I'm never going to say hi to him.
Yeah.
And
you want the liberties that Bruce Willis has.
Right.
Hey, I know you love me, Paul.
Stop and wave to the
We got a
audience.
glass of wine together.
Yeah.
But you haven't.
But you haven't earned them, and you haven't done them, so I just walked out, sat down, and just started talking, and we got along very well, and I made him laugh, which was bizarre to hear David Letterman laugh and be sitting across from him going, I'm making David Letterman laugh. And then Justin came over, grabbed my cue cards, shoved them in my backpack, and was like, take these.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Who was the other guest before you?
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, nice. Did he sit next to you? Or did he leave?
No, he left.
Yeah.
He left.
I always find that funny. Like sometimes someone stays and sometimes they don't. And
Yeah.
you have to wonder, like, it's got to be a combination of either like sometimes they just absolutely probably can't stay. They've got to get to the next talk show. They're promoting a movie. Press week is crazy. But sometimes you have to wonder if they're like, who's next? Oh, it's just Skyler Stone. Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, if it was like a fucking singer, maybe like they're like, I'm not gonna sit next to that guy. No idea who he is.
Vince Vaughn's Letterman from like 2000 and I want to say 2002, 2003 was maybe the best Letterman I've ever seen.
Oh wow, really?
It is so good. It is. I remember
That's him at his peak right there.
My
dude.
manager Vincent Nastri took me over to my house and he's like, "You need to watch this. This is how you need to do Letterman." If
What
you
was
do
he
Letterman."
promoting?
I don't even fucking know. I think Clay Pigeons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, first of all, the most underrated comedy that's ever been made, and this is a scientific fact, it's not an opinion, is Made.
Made is my favorite movie ever.
It's
Made is my favorite movie ever, and the only thing better than Made are the outtakes on Made.
1,000%. Not even
The
a question.
outtakes on Made are fucking.
All right, that's what we're doing. We're getting high, and we're going to watch Made in this room.
In a heartbeat.
It's going down.
I should get Byrne to get fucking come over, and we'll have Vince Vaughn come over, and we'll all watch Made. And I guess probably people won't do that. I would do it, but man, I fucking love Made. That is one of my
I
favorite.
don't know how much he likes me now that he knows me and Owen aren't friends, but yeah.
Oh, Owen. Yeah, and by the way, I love Owen. No one's talking shit, and please don't try to spread negativity anyone's way. Not Owen Wilson. I mean, I love Owen Wilson too. I just don't know him, but I love Owen Benjamin.
Owen Benjamin is one of the most talented comedians that will ever walk the face of the earth. And
he really is naturally
very funny on that
very
show.
naturally funny.
He's a fantastic performer, and
Yeah.
I don't want people to not like him. We just won't be friends with him because it didn't work, and that's it. It
Yeah,
just broke.
that's very
It just
fair to
broke.
say.
Yeah,
And I'm
he'd-
sure he
he'd
would
say
probably the same thing.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you, he is counting his blessings that we're no longer friends. I promise you. So, yeah. I'm not saying I ain't no fucking easy cow either. So,
I hope to God Owen's listening to this and he's like in his car going, yeah,
that's actually
I'll
really
agree
true.
with
I
that.
just told somebody the other day. I'm like, really glad Skyler's.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, I don't have very many people I'm not friends with, but whatever. Steve Byrne was someone I used to fucking party with all the time. I miss hanging out with that guy.
Yeah.
We used to get down. We used to fucking have a good time. But all right, I gotta go get fucking recital dresses for the girls if they're still here. They might have left me. You're right around the street, man. If you ever text me, I hang out in this man cave until fucking midnight every night. If you're ever fucking bored, and you want to just come over
now
to the
that
podcast,
I know, I'm going to partake.
yeah, man, please. I would love that. I would love that. So the only thing to promote is Walking with Dinosaurs.
I really want to promote that. Yeah,
December 20th.
It's going to be everywhere. Now, when I say this, this is not something the PR department told me to say, but when I say this, I actually mean it because I've seen it. The footage is so cool. It's not just for kids. Literally, I could see, like just stoners get into something like The Hobbit, or they get into Following Dave Matthews Around the Country or whatever. Like stoners just glom onto something. I could see, and when I say stoners, you don't have to be a stoner. That just means it's cool. It's so cool that I feel like stoners can be like, dude, let's go see Walking with Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
It's a cool movie. There's humor in it. A lot of great minds made it. The writer of Ice Age 2, the writer of Ice Age 3, the director of Alvin and the Chipmunks and Muppets in Space and Garfield with Bill Murray. There's some really good auspices behind it. Fox Animation does a really good job with animated movies. I'm very hesitant to call it an animated movie because it's not like Ice Age. It's not like Lion King. It's not 2D animation. It's not like Pixar. It's not 3D animation. It's like photorealistic. You literally are going to feel like you're watching a documentary on dinosaurs. It's marching the penguins but the dinosaur version. It really feels like you're walking next to dinosaurs.
Hey, any movie I can see with my kids is a movie I will go see.
And we put enough adult humor in it that you're going to like some of the jokes.
Well, I assume if you, John Leguizamo, and Justin Long, there's going to be parts of your personalities in there that I'm going to enjoy.
You're going to get a kick out of it.
We just saw Frozen, and we fucking loved it.
Did you see the trailer for Walking Dinosaurs before Frozen? Or did you walk in late? Because it should have been on there.
Oh, shit, I bet I did.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, I've been getting tweets all weekend saying, dude, I saw Frozen. And that movie broke records, dude.
I have anxiety attacks when I go to El Capitan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that place freaks me out. Every time I go in there, I fucking
It's not a movie. It's like there are characters performing.
They did ice sculptures.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Someone texted me the other day. Oh, Larson texted me. He was like, my friend saw Frozen and said there's no ice sculptures in there. I was like, I was at the El Capitan.
Who said this?
Larson, Jay Larson.
Oh, I love Larson.
And he was like,
Are you guys boys?
Yeah. He was on the podcast the other day. I fucking love Larson. He's the fucking best.
You know what I love about Larson? Larson has.
You know what I love about Larson is not only is the podcast great, we just sat and fucking gossiped for like fucking an hour after that.
That's
like
so
he's the fucking greatest. We're very similar people.
He's so much fun, and one of the things I like about him, he's been an influence on me without him even knowing that he has. Probably I think in the last couple of years, he must have just kind of had the, when you watch Office Space, and you're like, God, if I could ever just be as free as Ron Livingston's character. I mean, the day that he figures out, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to fucking do what I want and say what I want. Like, I love movies like that. Jerry Maguire, Office Space, Fight Club. I like movies where men unlock this new thing in them where they're like, I'm just going to fucking be me. Yeah. And Larson in the last couple of years had one of those oh shit unlock moments because when you talk to him, he inspires me. I'll talk to him and he'll be like, I go, oh, I just saw on Laughstub that you're laughstub.com that you're part of the Arsenio Hall showcase next week. Congrats, dude. He's like, no, I actually just told them I'm not doing it. I go, why? He goes, I don't know. I just need to focus right now. I don't really see how doing Arsenio like that. I don't know if that's fitting into my career right now. There's nothing wrong with that show. There's nothing wrong with doing it. He's like, I'm focused on, I need to focus on my wife right now. I'm focusing on the script I'm writing, and I'm trying to focus on my next Conan set, which he did last night, or the other night. So that's already in motion. I just don't need one other piece in my pie. Most comics would they'll never say no to anything. Yeah. Like, what do you need me to do? I need to drive all the way to Santa Clarita for a 5-minute set where I'm getting paid in a steak dinner. Like, okay, I'll do it. Like, he's like in this zone where like he's even like, oh yeah, the other day I just turned out a commercial audition. Looked at the fucking specs. Didn't look like something I'm going to book. Looks like it's going to be a huge waste of my time. They wanted a weird outfit. I wasn't down with it. Didn't want to get the outfit together. Didn't want to show up there. It wasn't a good day for me. I stayed home and I wrote. That's what I did. Like, he's just kind of in this fucking Ron Livingston and Office Space phase where he's just talking to me about all the shit he's turning down, and things are happening for him, dude. He just did Conan for a second time. I think he sold a script or something.
He's willing to tell someone to go fuck themselves. Like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I really like that about him because I am that guy, but just like I lost my niceness in 08 and 09 and my awesomeness, and I need to kind of recapture that, for a while, I turned into this guy that didn't say no to anything out of fear of like, oh, well, what if that's the thing that...
I've never said no to anything. It's a big mistake.
Well, I've started to, because just part of it is instinct and part of it is reality and part of it is like Jay's just very much like, yeah, what, do you really need to go do that fucking commercial? You should be focused on your clean set right now and get on a fucking late night. Like,
Larson's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
I told him...
I love the stories he's telling on late night. I love that he's doing one joke.
I love it
because I do a lot of those. I like telling long stories.
I wish they only had 12-minute stand-up segments so I could tell some of mine.
Yeah,
all my stories are so fucking long-winded.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Skyler Stone. The movie is Walking with Dinosaurs.
December 20th.
3D
and IMAX.
Follow him on Twitter
at the Skyler Stone.
At the Skyler Stone. Thank you so much. This episode was brought to you by The Machine.